Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another Premier Gaming Co-op Clash. It is our fourth of this type, I think. My name is TJ, alongside me is Devil Heroes as ever. I'm right about that, right? 4?
Yes, you are, TJ.
Okay.
Yeah, number 4.
Huh. Today we have a very excitingly stacked roster. Fried Sweet Tea, you may know, making his tournament debut here today. Troubled View, Combo Stealer, Frontier 2, and Fried Warrior are our teams. In addition, of course, to this, we have two groups today. This is Group A. We'll do Group B later on.
Indeed,
so very
TJ.
excited to see that.
Me too. Group A is looking really hot, so I'm real excited for this first series.
So just to give you a rundown of the teams, a Troubled Few is I, Killshot, and Ninja. Fried Warrior is Fried Sweet Tea and Warrior. And I actually corrected the spelling, which was the wrong thing to do. I shouldn't have done that. He spells Warrior with an E. So, there you go. Team Combo Stealer is, I believe, Vuon and S-Death. And then the final team, Team Frontier 2, is Joker and Shaz.
Sounds about right.
So I'm going to be stoked to see. We'll play 2 games in each group today. We also changed the rules slightly since the last time we played here on the stream on a tournament. So if you could run down the new scoring, maybe? You can take the lead on that as the far more experienced of the two of us.
Okay, so I believe we are now doing, you're still getting points, I believe 50 points for first, 25 for second, and 10 for third. And then we had a little bit of I would like to say we had a really strong team last week, so they're able to hold the competition after just 3 games. But so now we're gonna do but we still want to give credit to teams for winning really strongly. So for every 10 health that the team has, you will get an additional point. So this will, we believe, really benefit the scoring, but at the same time, it won't we won't have games over. The series over too soon before all the matches finish. So with this new scoring system, we're actually pretty excited because there's still a great benefit to holding on to your HP.
Yeah, and actually we have tuned down the first place. It's now 40 points for first, 30 for second, 20 for third, and 10 for fourth. So,
ooh, pardon me, yes.
Slightly less for winning out on top. Again, should stop people from running away with it as much. We had people generating truly ludicrous score lines the last time we did the tournament.
Yeah, it should be a little closer, and we'll have a much more exciting series for sure.
Of course, if you are looking for that Group B action, I can run down the teams that are in that Group B. That'll be Team Frontier, Best Friends, Chaotic Nate, and Rainaholics in Group B. I believe we're playing 2 games from each group. The team with the most points at the end of both games is the winner.
Sounds good.
So, we're just waiting on the teams themselves to get into the action. I have a question for you, because I know you're a streamer, you're a player at a pretty high level of Chess Rush. Talk me through what you're most interested to see for today, because I think there have been some pretty significant shifts in how the meta has been playing out. In particular, how's Rider buff doing these days? When we came in to the last tournament, we just kind of seen changes, but the changes weren't really in effect yet.
Yeah, so on our number 3 co-op Clash tournament, we were still seeing people kind of prefer to run those rider sort of comps, but now we certainly expect to see a lot more warriors, a lot more hunters, but there's still certainly a spot for riders. It's you just don't have to force them every game now. So we have a much healthier meta. But the one thing that didn't really get tuned because it's a little harder to pull off though is punishers. So if you see someone able to pull off these punisher comps, especially when you can get up to 12 units on your board, you're gonna see some real powerful synergies. The other thing I wanna everyone to look out for is the CC comp, which is like 3 units that can pretty much be run in anything. So if they're able to get these to 2 stars, the Kraken, the General of War, and the Shraka Ka. If you're able to get these units together, you can CC an entire team until they're dead almost. So look out for those 3 units especially.
How do you feel about Human Sorcerer?
Human Sorcerer.
Riding high on Human Sorcerer personally.
Human Sorcerer is still really strong. The only problem now is that the Shraka Ka and the Kraken are being seen a lot more, so that is gonna hurt it a little bit. But the Human Sorcerer still has the ability to like super duper high roll. If you get resets on like the Lightbringer or the General of War, you can basically one shot an entire team or CC them the whole time. So we like I said before, we have a really healthy meta right now. I think we just got I think we're actually ready.
Speaking of healthy things, I do believe the game has just started, so we are... No, I'm not loading in. I crashed out. Give me a moment. We are loading in. We will be getting into the game in a moment. This is, of course, Group A. As I mentioned earlier, there are 2 groups today. Double the action. We'll get into the Group B games later. Indeed.
You know, we started out with chess rush with just a couple of PvE rounds, so nothing too exciting going on. No, not at all.
Let's take a look at the starters. Ooh, that's actually slightly different UI. Let's take a look at the starters. Ninja has headed things off. Could go Punisher. Killshot all of a sudden has a 2-star Bionic Ninja. Couple other 2-stars, Miss Supersonics for Vulcan and Shaz. Nothing else crazy though.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's like Joker got baited into the 2-star Totem Face, which is one of my least favorite units in the entire game, but it's a 2-star, so it does a little bit at least.
He has 2 2-stars. 2-star Totem Face, 2-star Miss Supersonic. At some point, just for the early rounds, it's worth it to have the extra power, regardless of what you have ostensibly. He's also got 2 furries for the front line, and they're 2 of my favorite furries. That'll be the Wukong and the Bangar. Works very well to start things off, and then he takes the Bangar out of the lineup and will replace it with a Fire Firm. So I think he started real well.
Yeah, if you actually, I think he actually feels the same way as me, because he has the ability to give his partner a 2-star, but he decides to give his partner 2 furries instead, which I am in total agreement with.
In the early game, having that shield is just so powerful. He's paired against Fried Sweet Tea, who went for double Goblin Rider as a frontline, and rushed to having 5 characters on the board, which seems to have paid off here. The 2 stars are still in the backline, though, so it's down to that Flame Cooler to provide the damage. He's got it. That's a darn good start.
Absolutely. The 3 rider, the one thing you gotta remember about the rider buff is it used to be weak early, but now it actually has a buffed early game. So it's a little less weak early, but it falls off a little more than it used to late game.
We agreed, though, it's still viable come late game, right?
Oh, absolutely. But like in particular, you'll see just like 4 riders in a lot of comps. In co-op, though, maybe my experience isn't quite as good as it used to be. So there's perhaps 6 rider comps going, but the Dragoon sometimes you just can't find it, so it's not always worth it to have, you know, just 5 riders when you can have 4 and maybe another synergy.
I switched over to Fried Sweet Tea's POV, kind of wanting to see where this extra level up rush took him. Not very far, as both he and Warrior get dumpstered on this round. For Fried Sweet Tea, it was Xash who came out on top, and he is riding very well. Xash currently with the 300 buff, 2 Beast, 3 Warrior, 2 Furry. That's an incredible start.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I'm a little surprised because I think that they're oh no, now they're able to swap over the Templar, because I think in that round, Sweet Tea might have actually lost because his partner Warrior wasn't giving him the Templar at the start, so he didn't have the four rider buff. So maybe a little like nerves there or something. This is his first tournament here, so
I'm very, very interested in where he pivots from here. Because though he has all of these early buffs, they're not really concentrated in anything. Most of his damage right now is coming from a Cyborg Assassin, which is not a sustainable way to live. He's got a Famine in the backlines kind of adding up, but there's nothing that's going to carry him to late game by itself.
yeah. The other teams are looking pretty good though, so they're definitely gonna have a run for their money. Something to be aware of though, which I don't think we've had in any of our, you know, we've had what 12 casted games so far, but everyone has taken damage this game. So we have no perfect scores going into round. I think even going into round 5, no one had, you know, a perfect early game comp. So it's a little change up. You know, we have, like I said, this is a hot group. We're gonna have like a lot of competition going on here.
That's kind of what we were saying was going to happen as the tournaments went on for this game. You just start to see much closer competition kind of across the board.
Yeah, absolutely. That's you know the beauty of a new game is that you know we really get to see it develop and mature into this you know highly contested you know tournament now.
Yeah. All right, so sorry I've sounded a little distracted these last few moments. I've been copying down team and player names. So to give you a rundown, and this will matter later on, not so much right now, but it's worth knowing. A Troubled Few refers to I, Killshot, and Ninja. Fried Warrior is Fried Sweet Tea, and Warrior, or pretty obviously Combo Stealer, is then Xash and Vunar, and A Troubled Few is Joker and Chaz. Again, 40 points for winning, plus 1 point for every 10 HP remaining.
Yeah, so this makes it you're only gonna be up, you know, if you get just 4th place, you'll still be pretty close, but those extra bonus points will start to make a little bit of a difference, and it'll be quite a difference because you'll be, you know, 15 points above 2nd place, 35 above 3rd if you're getting a couple extra points versus, you know, 100 points above, you know, so we're gonna have a much more contested series, which I'm very excited for.
I'm kind of blown away by how poorly Joker is doing. He's already at 59 points of HP, below 60 right off the bat, so I tabbed over to kind of see what was going on. He's going for the Punisher Demon strat, and he's got it. He's got 4 Punisher Demons out of it. But then the rest of this roster is kind of weird and lackluster as a result. I think he's got Miss Supersonic for backline damage. He's got a 2-star Bangar kind of trying to frontline, and it's not been working out for him at all.
The other problem is his economy, TJ. He's got actually the lowest gold in the game, and he's level 6. So that means that you have to subtract an additional 5 essentially from his economy. So he's at basically -3, you know, crystals compared to everyone else, because everyone else is a whole level above him. So he is he's not in the greatest spot. But like I told you, don't sleep on the Punisher. The Punisher can come back, and hopefully he does stabilize here.
So, what is the key to stabilization? How does he make this composition work?
The first thing is leveling up, which he just did. Now I want to see him fully put in. I would actually really like him to take out this. There we go. He just did exactly what I was about to tell him to do. Because the furry is nice for the shield, but what'll happen is he'll get the warrior buff on his front line now. So he should really start to hold a little better. And on top of that, basically the best 2-star unit in the game was just given to him by his partner. The 2-star Devourer is a monster, TJ.
2-star Devourer there on the front lines, absolutely shredding. And just as we were worrying, how does Joker stabilize? He does so, crushing Ninja.
This world is full.
Yeah, but his partner now is lacking a little bit. So they're flip flopping. The
Why
thing
is
is,
he
if
playing this 2-star Devourer?
Don't call me evil.
that is just such a good question. I want to say he's holding on to the beast buff.
Well, what does he lose? Can't he take out the 2-star? Okay, there we go. I was
and then what
gonna
does he
say,
take out though?
yeah.
Okay, yeah, I like
So
that.
can he take out either the 2-star Miss Supersonic or lose the beast buff, take out the 1-star Ice Tusk? He does the latter. 1-star Ice Tusk off the board, Devourer onto the board.
Yeah, so his partner's able to change up, and I think he just swapped last second to the Bangar. So they have some good communication. It just looks like they just weren't too lucky early with some of their units. He took out the Ice Tusk because his partner ended up giving him the Banger, completing his 3 warrior buff. So at first I was gonna agree with you with the Supersonic, but they're just ahead of us. Maybe they're
Milliseconds ahead of our commentary. They're listening to our thoughts as we begin to say them.
Exactly.
Oh, and he's got a Hero of War there on the bench as well. That'll come in as a replacement for his 2-star Wukong, I think that was. Losing him the furry buff. Is that worth it because you get the stuns?
Yeah, that General of War, like I said, he's on his way to the CC comp. My only problem is the Miss Supersonic in the front line. It isn't a too big of an issue because she generates additional mana when she's on the front, but you want her to do damage. Ooh, TJ, that's a lot of damage right there.
Gets absolutely wiped by Warrior, who's gone Rider as a front line, backline 2-star Frost Lotus, 2-star Flamecaller. No wonder Warrior's chunking people. Chaz, that round went bad for him. I have to ask a couple questions off of it. Why the Wukong instead of... Why not the Wukong instead of the General Puffer? Because he loses the warrior buff. Right.
TJ, I wish he had a secret strat, but I think you're right on. The Wukong is definitely the move. Honestly, the Ice Tusk is even the move. The General Puffer is a strong unit, like I said last week, but he's not strong enough to beat a 2-star or a furry synergy, in the early game.
So we'd like to see the furry synergy in if you play the Wukong instead of the General Puffer. And I think you'd agree, would also like to see that Miss Supersonic taken off the board, maybe replaced with an Ice Tusk. Either way, he needs to start making these decisions quickly, because Chaz is dropped to just 8 HP.
He is truly one round away from losing the game. At this point, he should also be thinking about, did his partner not give him a unit last turn? Or did he just sell it? Either way, Chaz needs to be thinking...
He's only been getting one from his partner this whole time. Joker's having a Bangar and nothing else.
So, if Chaz doesn't put in... Okay, good. So, Chaz gives him my least favorite unit he could possibly give his partner. I'm not sure if he's going to last another round, but at least he's giving him...
4 out of 6 of his characters.
Yeah.
Poor Chaz!
So he
I think it was just
Chaz
Minecraft. I don't think he could get anything on the board in time. That's going to be his game. There's no way to come back from that. He's already gone.
At least he's giving his partner a 2-star Devourer. I would like for him to have given at least one of his Warlocks, preferably the Marsh Lord, which is secretly one of the best 2-star units in the game. It doesn't seem like much, but its ultimate and the fact that it's a warlock and it's a beast make it truly one of the best early game units by far. So, and then his partner, it looks like, still wasn't giving his partner, maybe he's a little mad at him or something. Who knows? There might be a little drama going on. But,
I hesitate to speculate, but it does seem like a miscommunication that Joker was only giving him the Bangar. Now Joker, sorry, needs to come out with this demon composition we were talking up earlier. He does have the full Demon Punisher comp running. That should be a massive power spike, particularly as they begin to level up. But his frontline is entirely furry based for now.
all right, TJ. So I'm gonna give them a little bit of a backhanded compliment right here, because they looked at Chaz's units and they decided that that it looks like Joker had 2 warriors on the board, right? So giving him the ice tusk was going to benefit them with getting the warrior buff going. But like we mentioned, the Marsh Lord is one of the best units in the game, and if you see, he actually has another prince as well. And let me tell you, the 2 warlock buff is probably one of the best buffs in the whole game. So, you know, I think they were getting a little flustered at the end, and it wasn't a bad decision, but it wasn't their best decision. You know what I'm saying?
Sure. Bottom of the board right now actually is Team Combo Stealer though. Accession Vuon, despite having more players, have lower average HP. What's going on there? What needs to be changed for Accession in particular?
If you take a look at their gold, though, so he's got the Kraken, he's got the Journal of War, he's got the Oceanborn buff, which we talked about last week. It's just a bonus now, but like, it's still a good bonus. You know, you're not going after Oceanborn anymore, but it's still a good buff. He's got the 2-star Kraken too now, so I really would like him to give that to his partner, unless he really needs the Warlock buff. He does, I guess. So they just spent 120 crystals between the 2 of them in one turn. 120 crystals, TJ. That's why co-op is so exciting. Oh my lord.
Bride Sweetie earlier today, he gave me a brand new term for that. He said that's called hyper rolling. That's what it is.
Hyper rolling. Absolutely.
Spend that many crystals all in one go.
And the fact that both of them can do it at the same time, unfortunately, Zesh from Combo Breaker still ends up taking damage. He's definitely looking at helping out his partner now. The problem is, honestly, I don't have too much of a problem with what just happened. The fact that they spent
to radio cast for a moment here because it looks like my app's crashed.
All right, no problem. So it looks like in the last round, Fried Sweet Tea actually lost his round in over 10 games. So that's gonna really start to affect his economy, because he was working on having 3 crystals apiece, extra. His partner Warrior at the top is still going strong, but it looks like he might now lose to Combo Breaker's Vunon, because Vunon just spent an outrageous amount of crystals that we just mentioned. So it looks like right as you're about to jump in, Warrior is now also going to be losing his win streak. Which this means, honestly, when I'm looking at Vunon's comp, I am scared for this enemy, for every other player on this field, because the way that they both used their econ and got up to nearly 60 gold each, I'm not sure about them spending it all at once, but it seems to be working out for them, TJ.
We did lose Ninja in that last round. He drops alongside iKillshot, putting a troubled few in the danger zone. 18 HP on Xash, but you opt to believe in them, so I'll hold.
I don't necessarily believe in Xash. I don't necessarily believe in Xash, but this is a co-op game, so only one player needs to get to the finals. And with a 7 warrior buff, a 2 warlock and 2 goblins, and the 2 oceanborn and 2 humans. That's nothing to laugh at. Not at all.
iKillshot. Oh. Bottom of the board, we lose our first team. I didn't think Joker was in trouble, but he gets dropped right off the board. That's going to be our first team off troubled few. That's really sad to see.
And so the turn after Vunon ends Warrior's win streak. Warrior comes right back onto Vunon's board and then ends up knocking him out as well. Knocking his win streak too. So you might still be able to jump. Okay. Good.
The app's being very finicky today.
Alright, so we're just jumping right back in. Our Fried Sweet Tea and Warrior are sitting on a very safe amount of HP. But honestly, the Warrior should win versus Ryder late game because of its massive buffs it got in the most recent patches. The problem though is the economies on combo breakers is really lacking.
That's Frontier 2 that's eliminated. iKillshot currently facing off against Vuon here. That's the boy you had so much faith in, but he loses this round and the one on his board. Definitely putting him, I think, solidly in the danger zone.
Yeah, it's looking scary for them. I don't know how gonna last if Warrior's able to find the this last human. If he's able to get off multiple werewolf transformations, an additional Templar heal, and God forbid a double General of War ult, this none of the enemy teams are gonna last through that. Even with the Warrior buffs and the Oceanborn buffs and the Goblin buffs, all of these, like you talked about with the Human Sorcerer, it can high roll super hard.
Let's talk through iKillshot because he's in the most danger right now. He's running 2 human in the backline with 2 warlock and 2 rider. Those are kind of his inconsequential buffs that are just happening as a side to his main buff, which is still the warrior. So he's got that main warrior buff, giving him the front line, giving him the vast majority of his oomph. Then he gets a whole bunch of extra mana from the human buff, a whole bunch of lifesteal, 15% from the warlocks, and his riders are extra buff. He's also getting, he's got 3 goblins on the board. That's only, of course, going to give him the plus 15 attack speed at level 2. But it means that if he gets lucky, if he rolls well, gets a 2-star goblin rider out, which I believe I see a lot of goblin riders. We could live in a world where he has the 4 goblin buff and the massive attack speed that comes with it.
Yeah, if he's able to get the goblin this comp, he can definitely just absolutely set off. He seems to be holding his own against all these other teams.
In trouble against Fried Sweet Tea. The stuns come through and he's on 10 HP. iKillshot will hold here by the looks of things, though it's a little bit dicey. You can see that Marsh Lord that you were actually talking up earlier today coming through and carrying the end of that.
Yeah, so unfortunately, Team Combo Breakers were able to hold a very good economy through the mid game, but they're going through tilt is something that's like used in a lot of other games, but it hasn't really. People haven't really realized that like tilt is a very real thing, and it's even more so in this game because you're making so many decisions over and over that like if you panic, they were right to panic at that one point when they spent the 60 gold, but since then they haven't built up any economy whatsoever, and they've had nearly 7 rounds since they spent all that crystals.
They're still literally broke. Here's Vuon, though, with a very good comp facing in against iKillshot on iKillshot's screen. This spells trouble. iKillshot's smattering of warriors are taken out very early on. He hasn't cleared the board at all. He's gone.
Yeah, and then what's scary for Fried Warriors team is that Vunon and Sesh are beating both of them like quite handily. And then Warrior lucked out by facing Killshot, but unless they're able to actually, Sweet Tea ends up spending all of his units. So this is a pretty good strategy that Fried Sweet Tea is going for actually right now. I believe he's going to just start looking for his he's going to be looking for the Calamity to give to his partner. Because Warrior has a good economy, hasn't wasted it, and should probably get to level 9 and maybe stabilize because he has 64 health to work with.
Warrior still with that maximum amount of HP, like you say. His backline is all human, all sorcerer. Then he's got undead buff as well as the rider as his front line. Versus Exesh, the stuns trouble him. That Kraken should overwhelm him. And he'll lose some of that massive HP, but it's Fried Sweet Tea who falls first. He's going to get shut down on his own screen by Vuon's excellent composition, which has that warrior front line and the smattering of buffs into the back line, as we were talking about earlier.
I honestly I'm not sure what's going on with Warrior. He seemed to have taken out his he seems to have taken out his 6 rider buff to put in 1 extra undead mage. I don't think that's the move, TJ.
Well, the 6 rider buff gets him a 15% higher chance to get the rider shield on his riders. It of course doesn't increase the rider shield's potency at all. So he may just feel that having the undead mage extra damage from him is more worth it than having his riders have a 15% chance to survive slightly longer. Either way, it's not working. He's got 16 HP now. He's 1 round away from losing.
He's able to get his dragoon to level 2, but we'll see how this rider buff works. He's gonna have 1 more turn. I expect him to eco for this turn. He should be selling this dark mage right now just for that extra gold, in my opinion, and then spend all of his gold to level up to 9 in the next round.
He doesn't. Yeah, he has this AI round as his stalling, but he doesn't have any rounds after that. So he's got 6 rider back on the board. He pulled that Dark Mage out of the lineup. He's still 1 away from a 2-star Kraken. What does he take out to put that Kraken in? Is that just a level up? He just has to level up?
He's put himself in he's put himself in a position where yeah, he levels up and gets the Kraken. Yeah, that's definitely. Will it be enough though, TJ?
He seems to think so. He's not spending any more of his crystals. There we go. Finally,
yeah,
a little
searching
bit of burn.
a little bit. If he's able to get a jelly or an extra Kraken, he definitely has a chance of living through the next round.
Above 10. Okay. This is such slow rolling. I would have implored him to sell everything because he wants that 2-star Kraken, and I don't think he wins if he doesn't get it. Here's the play for the game, potentially. Warrior needs to have made the difference having this 1-star Kraken, but it's immediately tied up by the 2-star of Exesh. You can see his front line just melting. His Kraken will get nothing. Stunned again, and that should be the game. First place goes to... I'll give it a dramatic pause. Team Combo Stealer. That's going to be, what?
Gosh.
42 XP between them, unless I'm incorrect.
Yes. Are we going to round up, or are
I'm not
we
rounding up.
We're not rounding up. Sounds good to me. All right.
So 42 XP on Team Combo Stealer as they take first place, and then 30 points on Fried Warrior. There is your scoreboard out of game 1 of 2. What a start. Frontier just kind of completely folded in on themselves at the start of that whole set. I'm hopeful to see them make some improvements into game 2. In that final 1-1, it felt to me that Warrior was way too confident that he'd win that bout and didn't make the desperate moves he kind of had to try and get the 2-star Kraken.
I mean, he made more errors than that,
He
honestly,
also
because the I'm not trying to be too hard, but like, I do expect like quite a bit from Fried and Warrior since they are literally the top two players in Classic. I think Warriors are the top in co-op, in North America, and the Kraken's great, but the General of War is just as good. And if you put the General of War in, he would have had a 3 Warrior buff on top of having that CC ult. So I think in the end he got a little flustered. He wasn't rolling like you mentioned. The rolling should have happened faster. Either way,
it definitely felt a little bit lackluster there at the end from Warrior. Perhaps the pressure getting to him, but it's okay. He still has a second game to make it up. They're within striking distance of first place. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with Game 2 in Group A. Then we still have 2 more games to come in Group B. The Premier Gaming Co-op Invitational continues after this. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. I have great news. The timer's a lie. We're already back into game number 2 of Group A after a strong Game 1 victory. Team Combo Stealer won't be able to repeat the performance if they can get, like, second here. I think they're basically confirmed as the Group A champions. Fried Warrior, the only team that can really contest them if they can get second place. And in order to do that, they need to win with such an HP lead.
Yeah, at least 30 from one of their players. So it's we still have a game ahead of us, but they're definitely feeling good, right? In this 2-match series, so
Yeah.
I'm happy with how they kept their economy, and hopefully they're able to maybe we can get another exciting hyper roll turn again. That was
Here
wild.
are your initial starting lineups. I'm not seeing any obvious early specialization. I am seeing a pattern of people really liking to pick up 2 goblins right off the bat, really liking to start with some goblins. Fried Sweet Tea actually gets 3 warrior right off the bat. That's kind of fun.
Yeah, he gets 3 warrior just on his own board, and then his partner is going to give him the engineer buff, so it's not bad at all. Oh.
He's going to be... Fried Sweet Tea has the back line... Oh, doesn't get the engineer buff, instead opting for the rider buff. He has the backline damage from the famine, and then the front line is going to be kind of all rider with that cyborg as well. Warriors as the damage source up there. The downside of this is he's relying on a 1-star famine to kind of carry him through these rounds, and I'm not sure that's enough damage. It may be here, but it's going to be a close thing. You can see that 2-star Goblin Rider really getting going here. I think he's got it. Yeah. Fried Sweet Tea doesn't have enough damage to win round 1, making one of the few losers in the round, down to 98 HP.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised that his partner didn't give him the rider buff.
No, he gave him the rider buff. He didn't give him the cyborg buff.
Oh yeah, he had the extra. Yeah, you're right.
He could have given him the Steel Fist and the Ground Smasher. Instead, he gave him the Templar. Now we get that trait that I really like seeing, the Unicorn Cavalier instead of the Templar. And... oh, don't go back! What?
Wait, the hunter buff.
He could have had the Hunter buff, but he trades it out for the Templar. What's that all about?
I hope that they're gonna be able to recover from the because they had quite the HP pool at in the 2v2 at the end there. I hope they're not going through, like we mentioned, like tilt, because it's very real. So
Well, what did Warrior... oh, I don't think Warrior had the Hunter.
no, Warrior was giving him a he was giving him a furry hunter, fire fur. He was giving him fire fur, yeah. So that was a good move, I think. He would have gotten the furry buff and the hunter buff.
But
instead he decides to put the Templar.
He took the fire fur off his board as well. So I kind of thought that he might have sold it, but no. Still could have played it. Now he exchanges it, so Templar still the front line, still double rider being sent over, Fried Sweet Tea relying on his now 2-star famine for the damage behind those riders without the hunter buff.
Yeah, I think he should have. I still think he should be giving him, like, the fire fur. I think that's the move.
Well, having that Templar is an almost exponential benefit to your front line because he's likely to get at least 1 heal off. So maybe the thinking is just that they need more frontline more than anything else. Here, that thinking will be tested. The famine is able to scrape out around, and Fried Sweet Tea gets 1 on the board.
Yeah, I'm glad they're able to win that one right there. The Templar is such a strong unit, TJ. But yeah, it's such a strong unit.
Let's talk about this troubled few team on the bottom of the card right now. Ninja and Killshot. Ninja at the very bottom has double Goblin, 3 Hunter, and he's getting past the Warrior front line. This feels... Killshot's in a little bit better of a situation because he also has the Warlock buff. But this feels like they don't really have any backline damage on either team.
Yeah, the famine and the forest breaths are all right, but the forest breath, like, almost all, like, she's one of my least favorite 3-star units because she's an elf, which is very lackluster, and then almost all of her damage is based around a straight line ultimate, which can sometimes just go really wrong, especially early. Like right there, her ulti only hit 2 people.
But the 2-star Frost Lotus misses the ultimate, and he gets the round because of it.
Yeah, that was luck's
You
a
rolled the
little
die
bit of a
right.
skill sometimes.
So my concern was that he wouldn't have enough backline. The answer was that if you make the round last long enough, then 1-star Forest Breath and Famine are more than enough. They got that round to last so long because of their warrior buff and their 2-star Bangar, who is a very tanky boy as it turns out.
Yeah. So now they're gonna swap out they're gonna get rid of the furry buff. Oh no, they still have the furry buff in the song, but they ended up getting the elf buff. And the elf buff, I said the elf wasn't like great or anything, but like it's still a bonus. I feel it's very similar to Oceanborn. You know how I mentioned like it's a bonus kind of versus like just a synergy. Like you don't want to go for elves, but if you can pick it up, it's a great bonus.
Not a great bonus. Anything that iKillshot's running. I thought he'd have the slightly stronger composition, but he actually doesn't have the front line that saved Ninja that last round. So he's kind of living in an even worse situation. They both lose their rounds. They're now just 69 HP on iKillshot, 77 on Ninja. This could be a very worrying performance.
Yeah, they both have the lowest health in the game, so only one of them is lost streaking. Even
So
though we
how-
don't like that in this.
How do they stabilize? Ninja, as you mentioned, is loss streaking, meaning he's getting extra interest on his loss bonus potentially.
Yeah. So how do they stabilize? That's a good question. They're starting to get a little bit of a front line. He's got a possible 3-star banger coming up. Okay, I know his first absolute is that he takes out the Forest Breast and put in Stalker Drone. Stalker Drone is basically I'm kind of saying there's like a lot of best units, but like there's a handful of very strong units, and Stalker Drone is at the top of that list.
Yeah, you put the Stalker Drone in a backline, he will win you rounds, but he hasn't. Ninja has the Stalker Drone, he's not played it. In order to play it, he'd have to take out either the Forest Breath or the Famine. He's got a 2-star Famine, so I'd advocate he swaps the Forest Breath out for the Stalker Drone, because I do agree that one does more damage than the other. He says, why not both? And brings in the Stalker as an extra backline.
Why not both indeed? I don't think that's too bad of a plan. I think he's working with what he's got, so he's gonna have quite a bit of extra damage in the back line, and especially now that he's got the Stalker Drone, we're just gonna see this guy just start literally shooting lasers out of his eyes. He ends up going against, I think, probably one of the stronger comps in the game.
Yeah.
Let me take a quick look.
Last game's champion crushes him. That's now 52 HP. iKillshot in an even worse place. At 39 HP. Both of them are so far and away the losers on this board. Nobody else is even close to how low their HP's gotten here. iKillshot's frontline is all 1-star. The only 2-stars he has is the Bangar he's being passed and the 2-star Goblin Rider. This is really dire straits from, especially because his economy's only at 17. There isn't even a whole lot he can do to trade things out. He feels lost. He needs like perfect rolls to somehow stabilize.
Yeah, so this is one of those situations where like you're thinking like, oh, like I have like strong warriors in the front line, and like a lot of times you don't want to double up on units, but right here he should almost definitely be dropping that Ice Tusk and putting in an additional 2-star for his front line, because I want him to take out the Ice Tusk and then maybe put in the Hog Rider, because
the second 2-star Goblin Rider.
Yeah, because if you're just looking at them as pure stat sticks, and you're not even thinking about the fact that the goblin's benefiting from the extra goblin buff, is that the Hog Rider has literally double the HP, double the attack damage that the Ice Tusk does, and you don't even need the Ice Tusk for any synergies. Like you have a 3 beast and a 4 warrior, so you're gaining nothing.
So
by having
you should
him
just
in pretty much.
have the Hog Rider in there for the extra damage. Also, the Hog Rider's passive, his martyrdom, if you'll excuse the Call of Duty reference, can get you a lot of value. Here, his front line melts, they get to the back line before the sustained damage has come through, and Vunom knocks him down to 27 HP.
Yeah, it's looking grim for our ATF squad right here. He's able to upgrade the Tusk up, or at least his partner is. So maybe
Is this where we do the thing we were talking about earlier? iKillshot just sells everything, builds maybe 2-3 stars, and throws them to Ninja?
Yeah, I would hope so, but right now he doesn't even have a second 2-star to give it. So maybe he's able to find another. He's definitely got one more turn, I hope. But at some point he's got. Oh, so he decides actually to level up. He decides to level up and just get the extra Hog Rider in by himself, which is a good call for now, because neither of them are looking too hot. Another thing though that would really help is if his partner didn't give him the Forest Breath. You know, that would definitely help him out quite a bit.
I mean, if he takes out the Forest Breath, though, he doesn't have any damage. iKillshot's just so screwed.
I think you're right. I think that they're bleeding so hard.
He's
Ninja's
got
on a 5-loss streak.
crystal that needs to be spent this round. Either to build something, I would say spend all your crystal. If it saves you, good. If it doesn't save you, sell everything and build something that could save Ninja. He thinks he saved himself. He forces a level up to 8, plays a Demon Executioner. That's an added frontline threat, certainly, getting him up to 5 frontline warriors. I'm just not sure he has the damage, because again, that Forest Breath he's being passed is so much of his potential damage. You can see the extra front lines making a difference, but I'm just not sure it's enough. You can see the Goblin Rider's already being accessed. That Blade Dancer tied up his Marsh Lord. He may very well be out of the game here. Here's the Wukong and the Unicorn Cavalier. They've got the damage. Goodbye, iKillshot, I think.
It's gonna be close. He just barely stays in. But on another angle, these guys are really close. And I think they've done I think Killshot might have. He probably should have looked to help out. He's gonna pick up the.
That's
this
actually
is really
huge.
good. Such a stabilization. This is the definition of a stabilization right here.
Got the best roll he could have hoped for. That Kraken is massive. Beyond being one of the best characters in the game, it also gives him the Oceanborn buff and the Hunter buff in one turn, whilst Ninja upgrades his Forest Breath to a 2-star.
And a 3-star banger. This team just went from I think it's nearly impossible for them with their economy to really pull through, but they're gonna stick in this and really kind of screw some of the other teams now and make them lose quite a bit of HP now.
Ninja still loses though. Vuon takes him down to just 3 HP.
Alright, so Killshot has 8 HP. He needs one more warrior. He needs 37 crystals to put that extra warrior in. What does he possibly do? He's going to be able to hold on for at least 2 more rounds. He's got this PvE round. Nobody else is even close to level 8 yet. So he's got more than a few rounds. But what I'm scared for is Joker.
He just traded out. He asked Ninja, instead of passing him the Hunter, the Forest Breath, iKillshot just asked to get given the Foray buff, or the 6 warrior buff from the Wukong.
Yeah, I don't think that's the right move.
Because that's a 1-star Wukong. I would much prefer him passing one of the 2-star hunters that he's got.
Absolutely. I think that the hunter buff is an extremely strong buff. As a matter of fact, he could be passing him the Fire Fur, and be giving him and be giving him the hunter and the Oh, he wanted the 6 warrior buff.
Yeah.
All right, how do
That's
we
one.
feel about that?
So to me, the 6 warrior buff is incredible, but a 1-star Wukong isn't worth it because the 1-star Wukong is so weak. Ninja, and especially because they're both on death's door, right now, this could be the last time you get to configure your lineups. You don't want to be frozen with your partner giving you a 1-star Wukong. They'll take the gamble, though, playing, assuming both of them are going to survive. For iKillshot, it seems likely as Kraken CC comes through. For Ninja, he's got that 6 Hunter buff, and his backline damage steps up. They both win. They both stay alive. A troubled few are still troubled, but they're also still in the game.
Yeah, I think that I would really like to trade the Fire Fur. I think that would be a really good move. The Fire Fur is a strong unit, like, throughout the entire game. Doesn't get enough credit because he's a furry, and people don't usually put him on the front line, but he can put out some massive damage with his ulti, and still tank up a decent amount because he's a furry. So, we'll have to see what they do. Because like you said, just the getting locked in with the 1-star Wukong is just... It doesn't feel good.
Terrifying prospect.
For sure. Because if he gives him the Hunter buff for now, Killshot's almost definitely going to want to put in General of War as soon as he gets it. We'll have to see what Ninja bases in this next round. He goes against Joker. That's
Chaz
so lucky.
and Joker. So this is most of the way up the board.
The Joker is very weak.
Uh-oh. iKillshot just lost his front line. His Kraken's gotta go huge to save this round. Good tie-ups. I think he's done it. That 3-star Vanguard does the work. He'll survive. Ninja does as well. Both of them live another round. Now Joker is in single-digit territory. That's 4 HP he's surviving on.
That Kraken is such a monster unit, TJ. Every time I see that ult, the screen go a little dark, I'm just like, I breathe in a little, and then when it ults, the entire team now, after the most recent patch, basically, it's a game winner. It's a game winner, TJ.
Yeah, there's no two ways about it. Joker is kind of in desperate straits. He's got 5 warrior, but he's trying to combo Furry Goblin Beast. He's got a smattering there. He's got higher levels than the people he's competing against, but I'm not sure that makes it worth not having a backline. He's versus iKillshot. If he can get to this Kraken, if he can shut down the backline, then he wins this round. It's as simple as that, but it is very hard for him to do so when the opposing front line just kind of folds around him, and then all his fancy 2-star units are tied up by the Kraken ult. He's the first dead. iKillshot still alive. Ninja still alive. 3 HP apiece.
And now Ninja's actually passing the 2-star Wukong. So I think we can kind of reevaluate a little bit and say that it's definitely not a bad decision at this point. Maybe not the decision we would make, but in no way now a bad decision. The 2-star Wukong can hold its own even into the late game, for sure.
And
they have been holding on for almost, 6 or 7 rounds?
Yeah.
With
now they have really fun synergy because one player's gone all Hunter and they're leveling up and focusing on the Hunters, and the other player's got all Warrior and they're leveling up and focusing on the Warriors.
I love it, TJ. What do you think about... No, we still want that. As soon as Killshot gets that General of War, though, I'd love to see Ninja pass him the... Oh, is it close?
I'm scared
Ninja.
every time that General of War comes through, stuns the Kraken. They don't get as much from that Siren ult. And there's a 2-star Siren against them, silenced for now. That 20-second silence, I think, won them the round. There's the Kraken.
Ninja, though.
Oh, they're all caught in it! iKillshot!
In the same
He's
round.
gone! Both of them on the same round!
We had so much hope for them. They were looking so good, TJ. Wow, and just like that in Chess Rush, it can flip on a dime. Oh my gosh. Wow, I thought they were going to hold on. I really did, TJ.
30 points as they exit this game 2. There are only 2 games in the group.
And look at our current tournament winners. They're running almost the same comp.
They've
So
got
it looks like
much HP.
they are. And here's the thing we got to remember, TJ. If Warrior and Fried Sweet Tea lose before Chaz, Team Combo Breakers just wins. Because Chaz can only get 44 points right now. So, oh my gosh. So we got to really pay attention to how they're building these comps. They've got 7 Warriors right now, with Fried running a Hunter comp and Warrior running a Elf comp. I'm not crazy about the Elf, TJ. Let me tell you.
Warrior, kind of elf. 3 elves. Where are the elves? Unicorn Cavalier, 2-star Forest Breath, 2-star Druid. I don't hate it. I think those are the elves I get if I have to choose elf. Towards the late game, he'll pull out a Blade Dancer. That'll add up into it. Maybe you can get more serious about it then.
Yeah, if he's able to get a Blade Dancer and swap out that Evergreen, that is a good elf comp.
Frontline will hold. Nicely done. The Unicorn Cavalier damage adds up. And in the meantime, Chaz gets dumpstered by Xash from the top of the board. 19 HP left on now our bottom player here. Team Frontier went out in last place in Game 1. Things have gotten better in Game 2. Though he lost Joker, he's still getting past 2 solid frontliners.
Yeah, I had a little internet drop there right at the end. That was a close round for Warrior.
So he can have a 3-star Marsh Lord at any moment here, Chaz. If he gets the 3-star Marsh Lord, he's sitting pretty, I think, because that's just such powerful backline. Then he can kind of pivot towards Beast. He's already got 4 Beast, 2 Human, 2 Goblin. I really like what Chaz is going for.
Yeah, and the Marsh Lord, like we've mentioned, so strong.
But he's not going to get there because he's playing versus teams that all have the worst thing imaginable for a Beast comp. Full CC stuns. Team Frontier are out.
Murdered, basically. 19 or 17 health in 1 round. That's rough. He didn't expect to go out, I don't think. There wasn't much he could do. At least he died with 0 gold. That's my goal for most games. It's not necessarily to win, but it's to die with 0 mana, because that means you're playing right.
Fun fact, that leaves a 3-way tie through 1st and 3rd, though it is temporary, of course, because Fried Warrior have secured themselves at least a few more points here. How many points do they need to win with? They need...
So, I believe that Warrior and Fried Sweet Tea, neither of them can lose any HP at this point, TJ. If either of them loses... If Warrior loses 3 HP or Fried Sweet Tea loses 5 HP, they are out of this series. That's how close this is. They have to take down almost 150. They started. That's 25 HP off of Xash. This is close. We're really close here.
Warrior running seven warriors appropriately enough. 2 humans, 2 warlocks, that kind of backline. Now Goblin and Oceanborn going through. He only has a 1-star Kraken. A little bit of beast buff being built up. Fried Sweet Tea living in kind of a hunter world. There's a 3-star Famine for his backline, 2-star Kraken up front. Should they have consolidated that? Maybe drop the Kraken from one of their lineups? I suppose they can't because they're passing those warriors over.
Yeah, I think that's right. But they're both using 7 warriors, so possibly. But the other thing we gotta remember for Zesh is that Chaz had almost all of his Marsh Lords, so those Marsh Lords are back in the pool. So he's a possibility now of rolling back those. These games are gonna be close, TJ. But it looks like Combo Breakers still isn't pulling through. And if Warrior and Sweet Tea are able to hold with this amount of HP, they will win this game.
Right, let me math it out. 2 points from Warrior, 2 points from Fried Sweet Tea, plus 40 for winning. That would give them 44 points, while Combo Stealers would only get 30 for second place.
Winning by 1 point, TJ.
That would do it.
Point. But here's the thing. Here's the thing we got to remember. If either of them loses one round,
Right.
they're out of this.
They need to win every round from here on.
Well, they're not out of it, but they won't get first. They'll tie for.
Wow.
Yeah. All right, so
let's talk about the top comps then. Vunon has this 4-man or 6-man warrior frontline. Some of that is Oceanborn. He's got the 2 Oceanborn buff, incidentally. The Kraken 2-star in his backline. He's also got Warlock, also got Goblin. The difference between him and a composition like the one Warrior's running is he doesn't have that human buff for the extra mana regen. That means there's a little bit more regular CC coming up from his opponents. He'll change that potentially now, though, as he plays the King of the Sea.
Shrakaka! This guy's a monster, but at the moment, Shrakaka isn't going to be able to get his ult off because he's all the way in the back. He does have the 3-star Wukong. I'm not sure how long he's had that for. Oh, but Zesh picks up the Marsh Lord now. Does he swap it over to his teammate? No, his teammate needs the 2 warrior buffs. But Zesh will absolutely stabilize now with that Marsh Lord, I believe. We'll have to see. Remember, Warrior and Fried Sweet Tea can't lose a single match from here on.
Good stuns against Warrior. There's that Shrakaka coming out. The King of the Sea CCs the whole team. Warrior does have his own frequent mana resets, though. That General of War gets a lot of work in for him. I don't know that it's enough. The Kraken's doing work. They lose finally around.
Oh my gosh!
Down 1.
TJ, they just lost their first place position, and even though they might win this match, that is a heartbreaker.
They can still tie for first.
They can tie,
but
that's true.
There's no way for Fried Warrior to come out on top. They do have Zesh down to 3 HP. Warrior lost that round to Vunon, though, who has to be what they're worried about.
Wow. And then here's the thing: if Warrior goes against this player again, then they just lose first. And Fried also has to win, but Fried was able to get to level 9, so I believe
matchups.
They did swap matchups. So it's possible that they just knocked both of them out now.
Warrior doing well on his screen. We'll swap over to Zesh. He seems to have lost his side, and Vunon is killed. Zesh.
That's it.
Dropped out as well. I think the Kraken can't do enough. And you're right, a tied first place.
Wow. So...
Oh no, they're still ahead. That's 43 points.
No, because the other team got 43 as well. In the first game, I believe.
I misnoted them. That's where things went wrong. I had it right in my head, which is why I was with you the whole time. And then I looked to update my scoreboard, and I was like, damn, they are at 43 points. All right, game 2 of 2 is over. Group A decided. A tied 43 points between Combo Stealer and Fried Warrior. A troubled Few and Frontier tied at 30 points in second place. What a Group A. What did we learn out of that series, I guess, is my question. Because what I learned is that Warrior buff is the way. I think we're living in a world where if you're playing Warriors in your front line, you're set. You want to go full Warrior and have a little bit of backline from a smattering of other buffs, be them human, warlock, goblin, little things to add on. We'll go to a break. It should be... Sorry, you're back.
Yeah, just a quick comment on the Warrior. So the Warrior is very strong in Classic, but it's especially strong in the co-op mode because the six front lines that you get, and usually you have an additional Berserker for the backline, that's not quite enough damage in Classic, but in co-op, you have 6 additional units behind your Warriors. So that front line is monstrous. And as you see, it also brings along CC, and it's able to win just about every game in the series so far.
We're going to go to a break. 10 minutes on the break clock. When we return, we will have Group B. Let me get you the list of teams for Group B. Group B, we have Team Frontier, Main, Best Friends, Chaotic Nate, and Rainaholics. Group 1 ends in a tied victory between iKillshot and Ninja's side, a troubled few. Combo Stealers side, Exesh and Vunar, and Fried Warriors side, Fried Sweet Tea and Warrior. Don't go far, we'll be right back. Group B in just a few moments.
Can't seem to adapt. And somebody told me that you felt the same way since we went. Why won't you give me a call? We'll ride on those waves again. And I can wait through a storm, 'cause without you it wouldn't be the same. Last night
Welcome back to the Comp Clash presented by Premier Gaming. It's time for Group B. The Rainaholics, Chaotic Knight, Best Friends, and Frontier will be your teams. My name is TJ. The man alongside me is Devil Heroes for Group 2. How are you doing after Group A? What do you... Alright, first of all, what I learned is I need to have more self-confidence. That's what I learned. Oh, hang on, I muted you. Alright. See, I had so much self-confidence, I didn't even unmute you.
Yeah, so we had a little rounding error where we mentioned it that we weren't rounding, but I somehow rounded in my head. And just to clear things up, we did mention it in chat, but Fried Warrior ended up winning by 1 point because the Combo Stealers had actually only gotten 42 points in the first game.
Right.
So Fried Warrior was able to get 43 points in the last game. So they ended up taking the dub in Group A, but now we have some familiar names with Rainaholics, Best Friends, and Frontier. You guys have seen, I believe, most of these teams have played in those three teams have played in our previous games, with Chaotic Nate being like a newcomer here.
Yeah,
The
this
exciting
should be
thing about
a very fun game too.
yeah, and the really exciting thing for me is that our newcomers in this, I believe, are number 1 and number 2 in NA in co-op. So I think we have quite a game on our hands.
Here is the complete team list. I actually don't have one Reigns co-op partner. Do you happen to know that?
No.
Alright.
It might be Man with Glass again.
I'm assuming it's Man with Glass again. That's who we played with last time. That will be Rainaholics, one Rain and Man with Glass. Chaotic Nate is Chaos Seraph, and Nate. Best Friends is Richard, TX, and Jerry. And Team Frontier is Brillet and Sun Tzu.
Just a quick thing before we jump into this game. One Rain's teammate, I actually have seen, he's another Chess Press streamer if you guys want to go check him out. He's been practicing with actually someone named War Chief, and War Chief is actually going to be his partner today.
Ah. Excellent. So, not Man with Glass, but War Chief in for Rainaholics with one Rain. I got my calculator out because you're apparently not a trustworthy calculator. We do have another game to go through by the same rules as game number 1. Of course, here's how it works. We'll play 2 games. Over the course of those 2 games, you get points. 40 points for first place, 30 for second, 20 for third, and just 10 for fourth. You also, if you're in first place, get 1 extra point for every 10 HP you have after the game ends. And then after the 2 games, the team with the highest score is your champion.
Rounded down. Alright, I think we are starting up.
Yep. They have said they'll be underway shortly. We talked about it kind of at the end of game number 1, but let's really unpack what we learned from that game 1. Because to me, I expected a lot of riders, I expected a lot of human sorcerer, and that's not strictly what I got.
Yeah, sorry, I was a little zoned out there. Yeah, I really do expect to see a lot more warriors. And like we mentioned, we actually were only able to see that CC comp I talked about, I think only once with the Kraken, Shrakaka, and the General of War. So,
Right.
If we're able to see that, it's a beautiful thing, guys. Just a
Here
team-wide
is-
Sun.
Here is Group B, Game 1. Full CC comp came through once last set. You've said the beauty will happen again. Your team is top to bottom. Again, Team Frontier is Brillet and Sun Tzu. Chaotic Nate is Chaos Seraph and Nate. Best Friends is Richard and Jerry. And Rainaholics is One Rain and War Chief.
All right.
And it's Chrono is, I guess, Jerry's in-game name.
So I think we've got our kind of usual, people looking for goblins early. We do see a few cyborgs this game, so
Yeah, let's take a look through our early start. You said a few cyborgs. Brillet is drowning in cyborgs. Actually, well on his way to having... he has a 2-star assassin cyborg, and he's got a second one kind of cooking up. He's gone full cyborg. What is this madness?
yeah, I'm gonna kind of quote Chopper Thunder here, but like you never go full cyborg, yeah. Like,
All right,
that's a
let
little
me tell
misquote.
you.
But
I was playing on my stream the other day. I did get second place with full cyborg. However, the problem with going full cyborg is come late game, you need to draw 2 units. You need to draw either the ultimate weapon or Terminator. Those last 2 here on this list. And if you don't get one of those 2 units, preferably both of them in late game, your composition is useless. Congratulations.
Absolutely. And so you're forced to level up. You can't reroll at all. Honestly, until level 9, because even level 8, you're only getting a 1% legendary chance. So you're really forced into this very specific play style. And the reason, like, good chest rest players are very good at like pivoting and stuff. So like when they see something's not working, maybe they'll decide like, oh yeah, like now's the time to spend all the mana crystals. Whereas in Cyborg, you're basically from like round 10 when you really start investing, you're invested. You know what I mean? I like you though. I did have a game today on stream where I went Cyborg and placed second, but
Nice.
second is only second, right?
A second place strategy.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Nate here. Nate and Chaos Seraph on Team Chaotic Nate are doing pretty well for me. I am really excited to see that Nate's already got 2 2-star famines, and he's being passed a 2-star assassin. I'm not the biggest fan of the Assassin Cyborg. Full disclosure, I think it's one of the weakest units in the game. But this early on, it is very, very effective at just tying up the backline for a few moments. And that 2-star famine, the 2 2-star famines, if you want a tongue twister, will do a lot of damage. Unfortunately, he's played into War Chief, who's already got such a sick composition with the Cyborg buff. This is very close, and I think he's lost, because there's the Miss Supersonic. He should go down,
Who
he
has
does, losing his perfect record.
Yeah, that Cyborg had the Miss Supersonic had the Cyborg buff as well. So if you actually take a look at War Chief, he had 4 synergies on round 4. So he had quite the early game comp with engineers, cyborgs, goblins, and riders. So he was sitting pretty for sure.
In the early game, it feels like you want to collect as many different synergies as possible. The racial, the class passives, just get as many little pretty icons in the top left of your screen as possible. And then once you start hitting rounds 5 and up, you want to start focusing in on whatever is actually viable for your late game.
Yeah, I like always tell people that, like, especially in these first few rounds, like you should never have any mana crystals. Like there's a very rare times when like you have literally nothing to buy, but like I mentioned earlier, like good chest rush players are always willing to pivot, and you do that by having options. If you don't buy anything, then you can't pivot, right? So when you're not going to gain any interest, and even in the later games, if you pick up a mythic unit, you should just buy it if it's not going to cost you any interest in the next round, because you can just sell it, the very next round if you don't. But this is how you like slowly work up your options and make it possible to like do those pivots that you see people do.
Bottom of the board currently, Richard and Chrono. Chrono going Punisher Demon, so that's going to take a moment to get online, but will be scary once it does. Richard, actually, he does have it online, all 4 Punisher Demons. Richard has Rider Warrior, that's a little bit less coherent. Chrono's kind of struggling on these rounds. You can see he does have that Punisher Demon setup we were talking up so much, but he's struggling because so many of those demons are 1-star. So it doesn't really matter that he has the synergy yet, because they're just being overwhelmed by objectively better characters.
Yeah, absolutely. But fortunately though, like we said, he did get the buff coming online like a little earlier than usual, so he's not going to be struggling too much like some of the other teams. He's able to start stabilizing around this, and then he's also was able to trade out the Wukong and pick up the furry buff now, so he's going to have a nice little front line as well for himself.
I'm staring at Nate because he's currently at the top of the cards and wanted to see how he was doing it. The answer is 2 Goblin, 2 Warlock, 3 Hunter. That's an absurd start! Because he's got the attack speed for his Hunters, which are just spitting out damage. By the way, 2 Famine on the board. 2 2-star Famine on the board. And then they're all getting lifesteal on the absurd amount of damage they're spitting out. Nate's like in a crazy good position.
And honestly, more importantly for me is the Stalker drone. The Stalker drone is, we need to say, like, I'll say this every time the Stalker drone's in. It is an insane unit, like, especially with the Hunter buff, because all his damage, his damage hits multiple units, and then he's got bonus attack power to do bonus damage to, a lot of units. So I've had games where oh my gosh, yeah, especially like because all the attack damage items like are multiplicative on him because he's hitting multiple units. It's the same reason you put you used to put all of your items on the Unicorn Cavalier because it's hitting multiple things. Same with the Stalker drone.
Nate gets his damage from this composition, wins another round pretty handedly. Chaos Seraph at the very top of the board does get shut down, though. He lost to Chrono there. Let's kind of unpack what's going on. 4 Engineer. It suddenly all makes sense. He'll make the trade forward, bring out some Druids for the upgrades. If it were me, I'd get rid of at least 2 of these Engineers right now. They're not really... Like, I'm just not a fan of any of this. He seems to be going full Engineer. He just leveled up in order to play Ground Smasher.
Yeah, I mean, like I like the Ground Smasher over the Steel Fist, so I would have put in, any of the 2-star druids. Like, I'm not a fan of the Witch Doctor. I think the Witch Doctor is a pure economy piece. Like, you can make gold off of, mana crystals off of her. But, like, the Evergreen's a strong unit, very strong 2-star front line. Certainly better than the Steel Fist, even with the Engineer and Cyborg buff.
And I'm a massive fan of the Everbloom, who he also has chilling on the bench, because, especially during these early rounds, the speed at which Everbloom summons those plants is absurd. But
absolutely.
Chaos Seraph is opting instead to sit with the benefit, I guess, that he is earning from the Cyborgs. But I say benefit in kind of hushed tones. Oh, he has 4 druids. Just get them all leveled up. Just play out the druids. You're not getting anything from these 1-star cyborgs. I feel that's blatantly apparent. His 2 2-star cyborgs are the 2 cyborgs I think are the most worthless.
Yeah. So like I said, at least one of these 1-star engineers needs to come out because he's not getting any synergy from it, right? So I don't know. I'm not too happy with. I think he lost the last round too because he didn't put in the druids. I'm not saying he definitely would have lost it, but he definitely didn't come close to winning.
It's not a lineup that makes any sense to me. Maybe Chaos Seraph has something planned, but I'm just so curious because this seems suicidal, and yet he's got such an early lead. What plays are we making here? Summoning in the Flame Caller. He puts the Flame Caller on the board to try and roll for a while. Gets a second Steel Fist. Isn't happy. Cans the Steel Fist. Down to 10 crystals in the bank. Sticks with his current roster. That's so bizarre to me because I literally don't know what he was rolling for. If he was collecting Steel Fists, then... If he was collecting cyborgs for the level up that he didn't get what he wanted, It seems to me that if he's collecting cyborgs for the level up, he draws a Steel Fist, he should sell the Flame Caller. He should maybe even start looking at selling his 2-star druids because he's committed. But instead he cans that cyborg he just rolled. If that's how you're thinking, if you're thinking, oh, these cyborgs aren't very good, why not play these druids?
That's what I was just about to bring up, TJ. We're literally like one and the same. Like, if you don't want to keep the Steel Fist, then what's the point of keeping him on your board?
Right.
You know. In the meantime, though, Richard and Chrono are getting lower and lower.
Yeah.
They didn't quite stabilize like I thought they would, and Chrono actually has the least gold in the game besides Brillet, and the least health as well. So, least level at the same time. Oh my gosh. Things aren't looking too good. He really needs this 2-star Devourer. He has to get it.
So he was kind of diving for the demon buff early on. The only level 2 demon he has is this Lilith, which doesn't suck, but Lilith is one of the weaker demons until you get her with a ton of items on her, I feel.
Yeah,
Still
no,
does
she's
win out the
undoubted.
round because he's got a solid front line. That was versus Brilliant he was playing.
Yeah, and Brillet, like we mentioned, was the only other person who's level 6 besides One Ring. That was, you know,
Good rolling.
undoubtedly his best teammate to face. So we're gonna keep looking at that. In the meantime, the War Chief has actually lost his last 3 rounds, and he has 6 riders. This was the big problem, especially in the last meta, but it's still a problem. Is that like people have this like 6 rider kind of, I almost want to call it a fetish, where like they just like they get all their riders, but then like giving armor and mana resist to no HP doesn't matter. You know what I mean? So like it's still a strong buff, but like you can't just like force it. You still need like some good units on your board.
You can see his whole team just got overwhelmed. He was losing all of the individual battles on the front line there. Even though, yes, he has that 6 rider buff, all that does is it gives some of his characters armor and magic resist. And if their HP, as you point out, if they're 1-stars, their base HP is still pretty low. War Chief is only working with 2,000 HP on that Calamity. It doesn't matter how much armor they maybe have. It doesn't matter how much magic resist they maybe have if they can just get full through it.
Yeah, and not to mention when you don't have much HP to work with, you know, you might not even proc the armor because it's not guaranteed, right? So
You're at
it's
60%, so you're basically flipping a coin on each rider as to whether or not they're tanky. And he doesn't have a whole lot in his backline. I like what he's got on the bench. He could have a 2-star Blade Dancer at any moment. He has a Goblin Rider, 2 2-star Goblin Riders. He could play a 2 Goblin setup and maybe get that attack speed buff. I like the things he's building towards, but that's relying on these riders to not screw him over until he can get them out on the board. That's working this round, and it may be enough. If he can just level up a few times, get the Goblin buff out, get the Blade Dancer out, War Chief all of a sudden has a 6-rider frontline with a whole bunch of really cool things to back it up. The change he just made, he brought in this Dragoon, got the human buff. Those changes help a ton.
Yeah, but even more so, honestly, his partner One Ring, I believe, just leveled up the Devourer as well, which is almost as good as the scouting drone. So once it gets to 2 stars, I should say, because the way his ult works, a lot of people don't really ever go through the ults specifically, but the Devourer literally lifesteals 50% of an enemy unit's health. So if he lifesteals a tank, he can go from literally 1 HP to 100%. So insane, and then he gets a crazy buff after that too. Like just an insanely powerful unit. And once he gets the 2 star, so he has the HP to actually get his ult off. Monster.
So War Chief and One Ring seem to have stabilized off of that, and War Chief got saved by it, I think, because getting that 2-star Devourer helps him, like I was talking about, have that front line last long enough that now we can start to get the back line he needs behind it in there, and he's got it now. Let's shift our attention towards the bottom of the card, Chrono and Richard. Both of them have been actually doing pretty alright recently. Only one loss on the streak for Chrono. They've kind of stabilized what was a real bad situation. How have they done that? Has the Demon Comp just come online?
Yeah, so the Demon Comp came online, but we're coming into like this is a problem in this genre in general, is that like, especially when you go for like contested pieces like where you both need to get like Devourers and Nightingales. So One Rain is actually kind of ahead. He did end up losing this past round, but One Rain's ahead of him and was getting more units. So Chrono and Richard are really like, they're hurting because of that, because they're both all competing for these Punisher units. And when you have to get these two specific kind of like keyhole, I want to say, pieces, or that's not quite the right word, but like you have these pivotal pieces that have to be in the comp. And when multiple teams are running it, it hurts both of them, right? So, because if you remember, I believe in the first game, the Marsh Lords were all on someone, and then he died. And then I think it was combo stealers in the first match were then able to pick up their 3-star Marsh Lord at the end. So like that's why you need to be aware of the scoreboard and like what other people are playing. You're not just playing against computers. Like there's a whole, not just your own economy, but there's the board pieces you have to be worried about as well.
Let's talk about Brilliant, because he just lost big, and he was someone I feel a little bit worried about. He ended up kind of sticking to his guns on the Cyborgs he drafted early. Let's show you where they're at. 2 3-stars, 3-star Steel Fist, and 3-star Cyborg Assassin. Stalker Drone up to 2 stars in the backlines. Is that worth it? Does this still work out, even though this comp feels very strange?
Yeah, I think that he's able to limp along because he's got those 2 3-stars. What we gotta remember though is that like if you can give your partner 2 3-stars, the thing is he has a little more HP than his partner, but if you're able to give your partner 2 3-stars, you're kind of doing your job in co-op. We'll have to see if Sun has the 6th warrior buff that we kind of raved about at the start. So maybe Brillet can really help out his partner here by putting in those engineer cyborgs.
He made some positioning shifts at the start of this round, and I really liked them. They gave his Stalker Drone more room to work with, but his front line couldn't outlast Nate. Nate actually lost to Richard on his screen, but he's got the 4 warrior buff that we were talking of, and then a hunter backline. So he's just basically got a more efficient version of Brillet's comp, it feels like. Because he's got 3 hunters in the backline and warriors in the front, not engineers and cyborgs.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you.
Chaos Seraph did make the changes we asked him to make. The cyborgs came out, druids came in. He's actually got the owl summoner as well that's so reclusive. I like Chaos Seraph's odds if he can keep this comp going. He doesn't have any other summoners though, or a focus on the beast buff.
Yeah, so if he's able to get that, the thing is he has the 4 druids, so he will be able to level quickly. But this round he's got is really close though. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to pull out, and Richard ends up giving him a little bit of hit there, stopping his win streak. So
let's focus in on One Rain at 12 HP. The man's got 6 demons going, 6 demon Punisher rather. 2 2-star Nightingales, almost a 3-star Nightingale if his bench works out. But he's only got 18 crystals to work with, rolling most of them now. I'd implore him to stay above 10 here. Don't go down in interest level. Let the Crystal Crocodile round play out, roll to blank next time.
Yeah, so he really needs to also take out this Lilith, which we mentioned earlier is more or less the worst demon. So he's got a Devourer on the board. He's got even better an Executioner.
Would you rather play a 1-star?
So if he's able to just.
Would you rather play a second 1-star Executioner than a 2-star Lilith? Because to me that, like having the 2-star Lilith is just worth it.
But he has the 1-star Lilith in it too as well. Oh, so just take out that Lilith right now and put in Joey. Joey is basically one of the strongest units in the entire game. So if he just takes out this Lilith right there and puts in a Joey, whew, so strong. Now the only thing he needs to change about his Joey positioning is it needs to be up quite a bit further because it drops a bomb at its feet and then the bomb does damage around it. So you really want the Joey. Sometimes I even have the Joey on my front line. You know how in some of these games we've seen the Kraken like really far up? Some of these ranged units actually do go on the front line because of the way their ultimates work.
Uh-oh. Ultimate weapon, as you say, positioned very far back. Does get the bomb off, but the whole board's cleared by the time it goes off. And that means, despite his good draws, one Rain is dead. Our first death of game and group number 2.
Yeah, we can just take a look at our bottom 3 players now, and if we include Rain, the bottom 4 players, they were all trying to go, Punisher, and you end up just hurting yourself if you can't pivot off of that and realize that you just can't build what you need to build. Unfortunately for Richard and Chrono, they're gonna start being able to pick up these units that Rain dropped, but it might just be too late, TJ.
Have they been stabilizing lately? Yeah, they're both on win streaks. 1 and 2, respectively. So it's not too bad. I feel like they are, like, cresting the hump where now they have more space on their team to play characters other than the demons. On Richard's POV, you see his backline hunters saving his bacon right now. Because they are making up for the fact that his front line was trading even. He then puts forward the Nether Prince puts forward that Stalker drone, and they win the round. So he's like, I think, fine. If we draw our attention to Chrono, he's now on 7 HP and doesn't have the same luxury because his backline is non-existent. He's gone entirely in on the 6 warrior buff with a side of Punisher with a side of human.
Yeah, so in my opinion, he should take out this Lilith and put in. You get the Goblin buff for his team, and the Lilith actually isn't needed for the. She isn't actually needed right now for the Demon buff. So I think
take out
at
the
this
Lilith,
point
put
in the
in
game,
the 2-star Goblin Rider.
Yeah, because you've got 10 units on the board at the moment, so that Goblin buff is massive. We talk about it as an early game buff, but that's kind of just because it's so easy to get. But like, the Goblin becomes increasingly more powerful as you go throughout the game. You know,
Oh my
because
God.
you get more and more units.
This round is so close. He might not get the chance. I don't think this Nether Prince survives. Oh my God.
The Martyr Doom. Fortunately for him, though, ties count as victories in Chess Rush. So the Hog Rider Martyr Doom, I guess, charge. Anyways, same thing. was even though it ends up killing his last unit, it's fine for him because a tie is the same as a dub.
Excuse me, I believe you mean charge.
Charge! Yeah.
It's written out in
I'll be-
Irish. So, you're asking him to take out the Lilith, put in the Hog Rider. They're both 2-star, so you wouldn't lose anything, and you'd get the Goblin buff. Wouldn't lose anything, because that's an assassin you're taking out, not a warrior. And he already has the demons.
Yeah, and I think that Hog Rider is just a better unit, like, to be
Wow.
honest. You know?
This round, though, also looks like it's narrowly going in his favor. Supersonic tries to turn the tables, but it won't happen. Let's throw over to War Chief. War Chief's in trouble. Chaos Seraph takes him out. He didn't get that front line to work out from the Riders he was trying to set up, and he seals Rainaholic's place in last place. That'll be 10 points to them at the end of the game 1.
Rainaholics are first players out. That's unfortunate. They were practicing quite a bit this week, so I'm hoping they're able to, put their boots back on and come back strong in the next one. For now, though, we still have quite a game ahead of us with everyone below 40 HP. So these are all teams that are just battling back and forth, whacking one another. I don't even have a clear favorite at them.
Yeah, every game this week has been so close. Chrono, I'm focusing my attention in on him. We've been begging him to put that Hog Rider in instead of the Lilith. I'd be curious to know if you hold to that now that his composition seems to be working out. Now that he's got that 2-star general report for the big stuns, now that it seems like things are finally adding up. Oh, and he gets a 3-star Nightingale as well. Do you still think it's imperative that he change up for the Goblin buff?
Like you said, like his comp is working, but like you can always not that you can always make things better, but I do believe that this is still it's definitely a good thing for his build to swap out the Hog Rider, but it's working. But you know, I guess I'm min-maxing right now, so like it's not imperative that he does it like I thought it was before, but like I think it would help out. You know, it'd make some of these like kind of close matches where in like the last two, I think they'd be a lot closer or not as close.
Let's I'll run the experiment. I'd be curious to know if any items on the level.
Oh my gosh,
for me,
brilliant.
that changes the calculus a bit, and he does. He has 2 Spellbane Staff. So for me, I think I'm going to disagree with the added knowledge that there's 2 Spellbane Staff, because that just levels up the Lilith so much. Having constant teleport, having constant pulses from her Death Bloom, just means that you have so much backline damage.
So when you're yeah, no, this
Calculus
is for sure,
changed again. 3-star Goblin Rider on the bench. Make the trade.
Don't
Take
do
out
it.
the Lilith.
All right, well, the another thing I want to say about the Lilith is that like when you're running Lilith like this, you can do this with a few assassins that have like ranged autos. You can actually just put them behind your backline, and then they never actually get damaged, and they're able to. This is not even close. He just goes away with it. We have our third person going out though. Brillet actually disconnects. Oh no, I think he just quit by accident. But going back to
I don't think
the
it was by
assassins.
accident, mate.
Yeah. You can actually run, especially the Lilith with her AoE damage. If you just put her behind the werewolf, she does insane AoE damage. Because like the front line just like runs at you, right? So like sometimes the Lilith, especially the Lilith, but like sometimes you can do it with like Venom and stuff. Like they get killed because they're in the back. But if you have them if you have them right behind your front line, they're gonna AoE ult the whole team versus just a few in the back line.
I'm shifting my focus over to Chaos Seraph. Of course, we just lost Brilith, who was going big cyborg. Chaos Seraph has front lines here, a couple 3-stars. He shifted away from the cyborgs. Now he puts that Flameclaw we watched him pick up in his backlines alongside a 3-star double druid squad. But unfortunately, all of this is not adding up to enough burst damage, and it's making these rounds very, very hard for him to track. We actually lose Chrono here. Chaos Seraph survives. Nate dropped down 1 HP. Chrono finally... the Demon Strat doesn't add up for him. This means now we're living in a world where Nate and Chaos Seraph both have 1 round loss between them. Richard maybe 2 if he can play it close. And the one player left for Team Frontier seems to be in the best driving position, Sun Tzu.
Yeah, he's got that 6 warrior buff. I don't think anyone else has it. So we've seen it we saw it in the first series. That warrior buff in co-op, it's really strong. But I'm definitely a little afraid because of this Chaos Seraph with what? 5 3-stars?
Yeah,
that's pretty crazy.
And it is full druid 3-star on the back line, but
his drone went down.
Oh yeah, just melted
That's
here.
That's it.
That's it. Just as we talk him up, the RNG goes against him. His whole backline gets silenced, and he's gone. Nate with 1 HP, the last surviving member from Chaos Nate.
Oh my gosh, Sun Tzu took nearly 30 health on that last round.
Oh my god.
That was a wild round. But I have to give a little bit of chastise to Chaos Seraph. I believe he's also another streamer too, if you want to check him out and stuff. Oh no, he's not. But Sorry, I'm mixing up names. But he hit his drone on the outside of the field. You never put the drone on the outside of the field. You should have been tucked into that corner, so he was the very last unit to live. So I believe that was a big part of why he actually lost that round. But jumping back in, we're in knockout rounds for everyone.
As a grand total of HP here, we have 20 HP on the entire board.
Wow, this is a close one.
If you take all the HPs of this card and add them together, it's less than most people win with.
Yeah, split between 3 players, TJ. We have such a close one right here.
Richard running Warlock, Demon Punisher for the front lines. Watch out for his Hunter in the back line. Sun Tzu, 6 Warrior buff. We said that was the ticket to victory. Humans, Undead, Beast, all as kind of side effects. Nate has Hunter, Warlock as well for Warriors in the front line. This should be the weakest comp here to me, but he makes up for it theoretically with the 3 stars in his back line. We'll see if it works out. It seems to have the Shark, big CC. Sun Tzu should lose on this board. On Sun Tzu's board, he's winning though. Richard as well.
Just barely.
Think nobody loses.
So they all went up against matchups that they were able to win. So that's pretty lucky for them. The thing I just want to point out that has nothing to do with this game is that werewolf looks so cool, and I've never seen a 3-star werewolf before. That shield he's got on the back looks awesome. I love the graphics. I love the graphics in the game. They're so good. Best graphics on like any of the auto chess or auto brawler games. Anyways, jumping back in.
Yes, Sun Tzu benefiting from that 3-star werewolf. I'm just worried that Nate doesn't have. So he's got the full CC comp, but he doesn't have enough outside of full CC because he has so many low-star units here for me. He's got the 2 3-star backline. That's kind of it. He's reliant on the stuns to keep him alive for long enough here. It seems to have paid off again. I may be underestimating the power of stuns. Uh-oh. Nate is overwhelming Sun Tzu here. That's going to be it for him. Richard, does win his board. We have a 1v1. Nate gets Sun Tzu. It's Richard in full control with that Rider frontline versus Nate with the CC stack.
But the thing you're forgetting, I think, though, TJ, is that the 3-star in the back is a scout drone. That thing is an absolute monster.
The Stalker.
I think that his
and he just
Stalker,
drew a Terminator as well.
Oh my gosh, is he able to get this cyborg buff in? Not quite.
Shouldn't he?
Would we put the cyborg in for anything?
Am I crazy, or should he drop the Void Doom to play the Terminator?
Drop the Void Doom. Is the Void Doom on? The Void Doom has 4 Forbidden Tomes, so he's trying to use it as a tank because it gets that shield, and then it always gets its ult up. But I don't know. It doesn't seem to matter though.
Nope. It didn't work. You gave 1 champions. Richard comes out on top for best friends.
Yeah. I do believe that Richard might have gone down below 10 HP though.
He did.
So does he get extra points?
I'm gonna log him at 40, as we learned last game. That doesn't necessarily.
Actually, just unplugged my headphones. No. I just looked at the replay. So he did lose points, but I believe he was at 11 or 10. We couldn't quite tell on the screen, but there's only 1 unit. Yeah. So we'll give him that 1 point.
Tell you what. After the last round, I'm gonna run through my scoreboard with you, and you can tell me if it's correct. Best friends, 41 points with first place. Chaotic Nate on 30 with second. Frontier on 20 with third, and Rainaholics in last with 10.
That seems about right to me, TJ. But
all right, chat, call us out on our math. We'll take a quick 5-minute break. We'll come back. Game 2 of 2 for Group 2. That's Group B. And I can't wait. Game 1 was the closest Chess Rush game I've ever seen. Don't you dare touch that browser. We'll be right back after this.
You're like a circle that floats around me, keeping me safe and sound. And when I fall, you tied a rope to me. You're blessing me every day. I was down with an illusion, like a sparrow with broken wings. But now I shine with your reflection on me. I'm getting back up on my feet. That you showed up was written in my palm. You are a statement, explode like a bomb. I get to push myself to victory. You make me winner. You cut me loose and set me free. You make me win in every way. You showed me how to spread my wings. Yes, I'm the winner of the day. You cut me loose and set me free. You make me win in every way. You showed me how to spread my wings. Yes, I'm the winner of the day. Yes, I'm the winner, yeah. 'Cause I'm the winner, yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Premier Gaming Co-op Clash. My name is still TJ, still with Devil Heroes, still Group B. Game number 2 is the difference. Game number 1 went to best friends in the narrowest of fashions. Now for game 2, Chaotic Knight, Frontier, and Rainaholics are all within striking distance.
That's the exciting thing about this format, TJ. We have a series all night long you guys can be excited for. I was telling TJ on the break, like I still got like a couple goosebumps from the end of that. It was so close. I'm so excited for this next one. What are you thinking, TJ?
I'm thinking the game number 2, for me, is entirely dependent on whether or not we continue to see almost nobody get their full composition. Because that's what made game 1 so intense. Nobody got what they wanted. Maybe one person,
Yeah.
I think Nate got full warrior. Unless I'm mixing him up with someone else. And that
It
was
did, but it was a little too late.
yeah, but that was like too late and kind of weird because it wasn't really full buff warrior. It was just kind of warrior, I guess. And that was it. Everyone else was just like, I don't know, I have a whole bunch of druids and like some riders, and what if I just kind of put them together? And I love that. I love rounds where nobody gets what they want and they just end up having to kind of improvise. That to me is pure chess rush.
Yeah, absolutely. And like, so I haven't really talked about this too much before, but I've heard people like kind of compare it to like poker, because like if you're not, there are people that are good at poker, right? But like most of us sit here and we're just like, oh, it's all luck, you know what I mean? Like you're just like, you're basically just trying to get a good hand or whatever. But
I
like,
have genuinely no idea how poker works.
well, it's very similar with chess rush. It's about minimizing and maximizing odds. So like, we don't really like the cyborg comp, but like for the cyborg comp, like you're maximizing your odds by like getting to a higher level, so you get like more chances at legendaries. You know what I mean? So like, you're making a lot of decisions that will affect your chances to win. You're like a good player, like has a strategy, and but a great player will make it so that they have the best chances of winning. Not just going with a strategy, right? They're going to go for the best game results, right? They have multiple strategies ahead of them, which is what I like to think of, like maximizing your chances.
Yeah, it is.
Wasn't like a full.
The accusation that gets passed around, of course, is this game is an RNG-based game. Like all games, it is. But the skill inherent in Chess Rush is in knowing which die you want to be rolling and how many times and when. Welcome to Game 2 of Group B. We are right back into it. And we actually got in real fast this time. This is even before the first AI round. Look at how good I am at my job.
We're getting real professional. I love it.
Yeah,
I love
nothing crashed last game. You may have been able to tell because I was, like, talking the whole time. Nothing crashed last game. That's the first time that's ever happened during a Chess Rush broadcast. Shout
It
out
was
to
exciting.
Tencent. Definitely.
We-
I'm also seeing, like, the... Not to get too far off topic, I'm also seeing, like, the spectator UI being updated. So Tencent are definitely, like, working on it.
Yeah, they want to make this an esport, I believe. So, and I think they're on their way there.
Let's talk through our opening lineups. 2-star Frost Lotus for One Rain, 2-star Hog Rider for War Chief. Oh, 2-star Frost Lotus as well for Sun Tzu. Who was it that got pinned down in the Cyborg trap last time? Brillet and I want to say it was Chaos Seraph, and they pivoted away.
Yeah, I believe they pivoted towards the middle game, so they didn't lose too much. But like you said, it's a trap.
Where's that? Where's
I'm
that
thinking-
Frost Lotus ult gone? Chaos Seraph just Frost Lotus ulted his bench.
Oh, dude, I just caught that right as I was going over. That was weird, right? The Frost Lotus and the Flamecaller were like one of the best units. Right before the Rider nerf, a little low key thing that a lot of people. So I like this the 6 Sorcerer, 6 Human, but the 3 Sorcerer actually did get nerfed last pack. And then on top of that, the Frost Lotus got nerfed, and the Flamecaller got a bug where she sometimes just doesn't ult. So like that hurt them a little bit, but you also see that's the problem with some of the AoE ults in this game is that you can AoE ult a single unit, you know, and then you don't get any effect, basically.
My
So,
favorite is when you're just watching a Flamecaller stand there. And you're like, just cast the ult! And she's just like checking Reddit, scrolling
Yeah,
down.
just texting.
Yeah,
Yeah, dude.
very frustrating.
That's how I
So,
feel.
we've had a round, we've had a moment to sort things out. Where are people headed? Top of the board right now is Brillet. Seems to be going Beast Goblin. That's very exciting for me. This is my personal favorite comp, Beast Goblin Druid. And then sometimes you get a Warlock in there as well. But they don't have any Summoners yet. And that's kind of critical. You want to have Marsh Lord. You want to have, maybe even I'd go so far as to throw in a Everbloom. Definitely a Werewolf in there as well. So that you have the maximum pet bonus. They're being past a lot of their backline damage from Sun Tzu, who's already got a 2-star Frost Lotus and a 2-star Famine.
Yeah, that's powerful, TJ. Anytime my partner is passing me two 2-star, two 2-star, I'm just happy, right? It means my partner's doing their job. Unfortunately, though, I don't think that his partner's returning the favor, and they actually both end up losing slightly.
Just
too
as
bad.
we talk him up, what are War Chief and One Rain doing to stay on perfect HP for so long? This is, I think, actually the longest anyone's made it with perfect HP tonight. These games have been bloody. One Rain's got Human Sorcerer as a backline, Rider playing up front. War Chief also benefiting from those Riders, a little bit less strict, but it looks like kind of Beast Summoner is a lean without too much dedication. He actually just sold Druids, so I'm going to say that's not the direction he wants to go.
Yeah, I just, after the Druids got nerfed 2 patches ago, I've had so much trouble doing them. I don't think they're bad, you know, but like when you're in a tournament and you have to win, I don't think they're the move.
That sounds like you think they're bad.
Well, the thing is, when you're ranking up, you don't have to win. You know what I mean? You just have to get 4th place. So like Druids will definitely get you there in ranked. You know, they'll almost guarantee you 4th because you get such strong units. But like, you're not gonna, you know, a 3-star Druid sometimes isn't even as good as a 2-star. You know, like or even rare, right? So in a tournament setting, I just don't find them to be the greatest.
Something I'm keeping my eye on is how many people run Demon Buff. Because we had like an absurd amount of Demon Punisher last game. But right now it looks like 2 people going Punisher, and only one of them is full Demon Punisher, that being Chrono.
Yeah, that looks to be the case. And I think he's just running the Nightingale too. So
Yeah, it's Nightingale
with the
plus Scourge, so I'd even
Scourge,
hesitate to
yeah.
call him going Demon Punisher at this point. He just happens to be getting some of the benefits.
Something that people don't give enough credit for. Not only is Nightingale's passive extremely strong because she's able to, early game she's just a decent unit, but then her late game and the mid game even, she makes the other demon buff, unless you're running Punisher, like useless, right? Her race or her class, I guess, is Punisher, right? It makes it so that your ally Punisher counts as a demon for the other enemy team, which if you see the demon buff makes it so that if you have more than 2 demons, then you don't get the demon, and the demon buff is massive. That's why you almost always want to have 1 demon on the team.
During the early game, that's useful. Surely that kind of peters off towards late, because I do also believe that the demon buff peters off towards late.
Yeah, it definitely does. But then like the thing is, like I said, I didn't really say it, but the Nightingale late game though, if you're able to position correctly, she can totally counter a unit because she can make them never be able to ult. So she's one of the few units I feel that like has a strong early, strong mid, and strong late game. You're almost always gonna buy her unless you have like a couple like pairs in your early board.
One Rain's still on max HP. Highest economy on the board, it's worth referencing, is Nate and Chaos. Chaotic Knight at the bottom of the card. They came in second last game. Let's go and see what they're looking for here. It looks like Beast Summoner maybe with a side of Hunter from Knight. Hunter with some Warriors from Chaos.
Yeah, so is Nate currently loss streaking? It doesn't look like he is. Like, I don't know if that one the HP he's going to lose right here. Like, he should almost undoubtedly be dropping the 10 gold to how much health is he? He's gonna lose 15 health here because he wanted to gain 1 extra mana crystal. TJ, I don't think that was worth it.
But he'll be able to level up on this next round. He'll be able to bring through everything he wants. What is he looking for? Because I was trying to stall through it, looking at what was on his bench. He's kind of gone to the beginnings with Druid Beast, which is what I thought, although he just sells his Marsh Lord just there. So maybe my assessment is wrong.
Yeah, I'm not sure, TJ. He's actually got a decent comp. He's just level 5, so he's gonna keep getting crushed. Honestly,
whose draw am I looking at right here? I'm so
the
confused.
person who you're spectating. So you're
is
looking
that
at
Richard's draw? Yeah, it is. Cause
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I really wished I wish they'd change that with spectating, but for and then the other problem is that the DPS chart you have is also for the person, at least for me it was. So it looks like you're.
For me, it's Richard.
Never mind. Yeah, for you it's Richard. Yeah, so like, hopefully they'll change that, but for now it's fine.
If you want to see how well Richard's doing, I installed a DPS chart just for you. Let's take a look at how he is doing, because he's got double Unicorn Cavalier as a backline here, Rider across the board with that Nightingale up front.
Yeah, I like this, but maybe he could switch the Scourge and the Hog Rider. I don't think it's wrong, but you'll get the Hog Rider a little because that is a range unit. Some people don't always remember that.
I kind of questioned what was going on with Nate. Oh, he sold all of his Witch Doctors. He sold his Marsh Lord. Wait, no, he played a Marsh Lord.
I
So
think
he
Nate
sold
did.
one Marsh Lord and then got another and played it.
That's interesting. I think Nate did go. I believe he ended up selling his witch doctors by doing a little bit of the witch doctor shenanigans. If you're not aware of how to do this, the reason why you see people keep their witch doctors for so long is because you can level up you can actually level up the witch doctor for just for you buy 2 witch doctors, put 2 druids in, an extra druid in the witch doctor, and then it levels up for 2 crystals, and you can sell it for 3. So you're almost always gonna pick up witch doctors and keep them throughout the game unless you get to an interest point, right? Because they'll just make you gold. In my opinion, that's the only reason you ever use witch doctors, because they should almost never go forward unless you have like a 3-star witch doctor.
It's free real estate. Nate
Yeah.
struggles though. Chaos Seraph takes him down. So the extra crystal is working out, but he does have bank. He's at 50. That's bank. Maximum interest. He is rolling in crystals right now.
Yeah, he's
What
he's
does he
rolling in
spend them on?
crystals. But like right now, like yeah, good. All right, I was about to say because if he just puts another unit, it wins, stays at the same interest. So he does end up doing that. But at the same time, like I would much rather have 27 crystals like one rain does and have 59 more health than have 49 crystals, because that's not that many more crystals, right? Like there's a time where like sometimes I mean that also has to do with a little bit of unluckiness from Nate that the first place is so far ahead and was still able to maintain an economy, but sometimes lose streaking that hard is like I said, there was multiple times where he could have just leveled up and saved himself a couple extra HPs.
Well, it is. I see the argument for building that much bank because it is cumulative, right? Nate is always going to have more crystals to spend every round because he's getting 12 per round. Unfortunately, he's still not winning. So at some point, you run out of HP. And he's either got to start burning these crystals on rerolls, or I was going to say or level up, but he literally doesn't have anything else to put on the board. And I'm trying to work out what he would draw from rerolls, and I don't see it. I guess you could look for another frontline warrior. I guess that needs to be in his docket. But he's just got like 1 stars of everything, which is giving him maximum buffs, but 0 wins.
Yeah, I don't even think he's gonna win this round either. Like both of them are gonna go down to knockout range. They are both now in knockout range in round 13. Okay, Chaos ends up winning his round just barely.
For the one rain update. Extreme showers at the top of the scoreboard. He's still at 100 HP.
They came back mad. The Rainaholics were like, "This ain't right. 4th place ain't us. We're gonna come back hard, and we're gonna look to win this tournament." And so far, they're off to the right start to possibly take a dub.
Yes. So 1 point for every 10. That adds up actually a lot, especially because game 1 was so narrow.
No, I'm pretty sure it would be 17 points. If we're rounding down. So that would basically, I think that would, as long as Best Friends doesn't get I guess Chaotic Nate and Best Friends have to lose though, right? Have to get 4th and
yeah, they can
but
get
right
a
now
maximum of 57 points, right?
Yeah. So if it's a tight for them from 4th place, but they have kind of the resources now to do that, it looks like. So
Oh, Nate won a round. What was the change? Goblin Berserker on the board. Also got some 2 stars. He burned a lot of that bank we've been watching him build up to do it, though. That was kind of what I was saying the whole time. Like, what's the point of building up all those crystals if you are going to have to burn them? You can make the argument that, well, he's still got more to burn now and he's stabilized, but I'm not sure that it was worth the amount of HP he lost. I think I would have preferred him take the gambles early, because I don't see a good way for him to win here.
Yeah, so they do have the level over every game. They also have, they have 50 less health than just about every game too. So sometimes you
Mixed
just
blessings, as they say.
yeah. I'm worried for both of them. It could just, I don't think it's gonna happen in the next, 4 or 5 rounds. But when we get like 7 to 8 rounds out and like everyone's on equal level, they have a chance of just, especially Nate. Nate could lose 18 HP just by accident. You know what I mean? That's why I never want to eco past like 40. Like I spend almost all my mana crystals when I get down to about 40 HP because of those. You need a little bit of wiggle room. He is running the 6 warriors though, I believe, right? Both of them are,
When
and it's been.
Yeah, and that's made the difference. So the Goblin Berserker got played, he got past 6 warriors, and now he's been winning rounds, because getting that 6 warrior buff is so powerful. We talked about that prior to Game 1, Group A tonight. I feel it is one of the strongest compositions. Group A proved that to me. Then Group B came along, nobody's gotten it, and just as we praise them for saving to get it, they lose devastatingly. Nate could be out here. He is!
Nate goes out with 40 gold, TJ. You know how I feel about
40
having 40
crystals
gold
in the
when you
bank.
lose? 40 crystals, TJ. 40 mana
And
crystals in your
he
bank.
saved that round to get to 50.
The shadow giveth life, when the shadow taketh away.
What do
I
you
don't really have
do?
much to say. I don't really have much to say here,
Poor
TJ.
Nate. They put themselves at risk in order to gain so much bank. You look at Chaos Seraph now, though. He's lost his teammate. He's got 20 HP, and he's got 1 crystal in the bank. That's heartbreaking for Nate. That's heartbreaking for Chaos. And the gamble did not pay off.
We have Brillet, though, also now in the knockout range. And he's against Warchief, so I think we might have another, we might lose another player right here.
Yeah, good catch.
It's going to be
Brilliant.
close.
With the human backline, 2 mana, 5 warrior frontline. Witch Doctor heal could be big, but it doesn't get out. Frost Lotus is good, but it's not enough. 2 HP!
He just stayed in with that last auto attack, was able to take down, I think, the banger or something, and just barely stays in there. Wow, TJ. Close games tonight. Oh, looks like One Rain lost his first round, maybe? Or was that a few
One
games?
rain, more like 1 loss.
1 loss, yeah. That's not too bad of a name in a game where you have multiple rounds. He just picks up his 6th sorcerer. How do you feel about 6 humans with sorcerers? How do you feel about that?
He is set, because he's got the ultimate weapon as well. So he's just going to get the resets of the ultimate weapon from the human buff. That's disgusting.
Yeah, that is so strong right there. Look at that ulti. Oh, but he's taking a little bit of damage here. What's Chrono using?
Uh-oh. Brilliant.
Oh, the 6
Frost
warrior.
Lotus. Brilliant. 3-star Frost Lotus. I think he loses here to 1 3-star Frost Lotus. Oh, distracted by the healing totem. Ult goes out. I don't think he's got it. It doesn't matter. That's enough. Goodbye, Brilliant.
Brillet goes out in round 19. He's able to give his partner just a 2-star banger and a 2-star ice tusk.
One Rain has a 3-star Frost Lotus in the back. That's what we just witnessed. What
Absolute
a
monster.
Okay. So he makes the trade, and I agree. Put the werewolf in. I actually would go so far as to say, take the ultimate weapon out and put in more sorcerers.
Yeah, because the thing that you gotta remember is the ultimate weapon does physical damage. So
Yep.
that sorcerer buff isn't actually, greatly affecting the ultimate weapon.
It is a blizzard.
It does still do quite a bit of damage,
My
but
God, this composition. It's a blizzard. Does it work out? It's down to the 3-star Frost Lotus again. He's got it. Nicely done.
human buff, OP right there.
Yeah.
Shoots out the double ultimate
How
and
many
wins a
Frost Lotus
1v3.
ults were there? Is that like
It was
4 off
almost
the board at one
uncountable.
time?
Yeah, that was resets on resets on resets, TJ. The human buff can be absolute beauty.
The ice
Even-
cream
even better-
machine is working. Chaos Seraph is our most at-risk player. We love to highlight those. He's at the bottom of this board. 6 warrior buff we talked about. He's built up bank since we last touched on him. Now sitting at a grand total of 14 in the bank.
Yeah, he does have a relatively weak economy compared to the rest of them, but the 6 warrior buff should allow him to hold on for quite a while. If he can pick up another warlock, I think he might be able to make it there. Unfortunately, we can't. Oh, actually, I have his board, so I'll kind of update you on whether or not he finds.
Richard
He's rolling
just
a
got
little
a
bit.
3-star Unicorn Cavalier.
That is such a good unit. And he has the 4 rider buff. He's got.
I'm going to stay,
The
so I'm
3 elves.
really happy because I have Richard's board. I'm spectating from his POV. So I can tell you how much damage this 3-star Unicorn Cavalier is doing. So we're going to watch this, because he's got the Goblin buff as well for the higher attack speed. And it was already doing 9k damage around. So here he is versus Chaos Seraph. 5k. 9k. 11,000. 13,000, 17, 20,000 damage broken by this Unicorn Cavalier. Now 30,000 damage, and finally it should go down. No, it does not.
Oh my God.
39,000 damage on the round from the 3-star Unicorn Cavalier.
If you click on that Unicorn Cavalier, it is the.
Oh my
It has
god,
one of
it's
the-
stacked!
Yeah, that's my only this game, to be honest, is literally that one item right there. It's great if you get it right now,
The
but like
crit
let's be honest, guys, it is so unbalanced. It is absurd. Getting that, like I've before had a 3-star famine and a 1-star stalker drone, and my 1-star stalker drone was doubling the damage of my 3-star famine because of this item.
Because
Like
of the
that's
level
how
4 crit
powerful
blight.
it is.
It is
And it's all
disgusting.
RNG. So like I like the rest of the game, all the other items are fine. You know, leading up to the 3 crit swords, I have no problem with, but the
Uh-oh.
4 crit, ugh.
Chaos Seraph
Is
in
he-
trouble. Oh, he's got it. He's fine.
This Unicorn Cavalier. I thought the Unicorn
Fine.
Cavalier, the OP crit Cavalier, we should call him.
Wait,
was,
does the Unicorn, does that crit blade work on every strike of the Unicorn Cavalier's projectile? If it bounces between
Yeah,
targets, does the crit have a 15% chance on every target it bounces on?
So yeah, so here's the crazy thing for me is I think that with the drone and the Cavalier, if the original crits, then like all the other ones crit too. So like you're just
So if
doing
he rolls
monstrous damage.
15% on the first target from that blade, and then it bounces
Yeah.
to 2 other targets, it does 400% damage on all of those targets.
Yeah, dude.
That's
mean,
disgusting!
Yeah, that's why you saw him going up. Like some autos were doing like 5,000 damage because the first one crit, and then it crits 7 more times. TJ, the 3-star Cavalier hits 7 units, so
And I
that's
think it's just
critting
taken out Chaos Seraph. You might be like, TJ, but it's a 1v3 in the unit cards. Watch this! Oh, Acro's on the wrong
Oh.
target. Barely
Yeah,
he stays
so-
alive.
The lucky thing for Chaos Seraph is he does have that warrior buff going on. So the Unicorn Cavalier he's versed twice now.
He got
doesn't-
placed against
uh,
Richard's Unicorn Cavalier twice in a row. Let's talk
Yeah.
about War Chief on 9 HP. Best card on the board, but despite one rank doing well, the Rainaholics as a team are not. He's got the 3-star Frost Lotus and 2-star Flamecaller being passed to him, which is a little bit awkward because those sorcerers don't, they randomly position, so they're not protected.
Mm.
He also doesn't have the infinite human resets. Instead, his front line largely comes from the 4x Goblin buff he's got, but he doesn't have any Hunters. So I'm not convinced anyone's really benefiting from that.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. It looks like he's gonna be able to hold.
I don't count your chickens before they hatch. Watch this 3-star Unicorn Cavalier ruin his day. Ruin
the
his
crit
team.
Cavalier.
That's it.
I think that's it. He's out. He's out,
9
TJ.
HP.
Oh,
2
just
HP.
barely. Oh my gosh, the crit cavalier is something else. He's a monster. She's a monster. I apologize. I assume the gender there. Yeah, that item.
The
needs,
horses
needs a,
there as well. They are monsters. It's a team
They
effort.
are monsters.
It's a
That's
team effort.
that's why riders were so OP for so long. They were basically like 2 units. You know what I mean? So like.
The horse is there
Now,
for moral support.
it's
So
a,
let's unpack that, because he does have the 4x Goblin buff, which is an absurd amount of attack speed. But the problem is that all of the damage on this team, including the damage being passed to him by One Rain, is sorcerer damage. So
yeah.
I don't want to sound too harsh, but who cares? Because
Yeah,
the sorcerers don't really benefit from having a higher attack speed. Maybe they get their ult a little bit faster, but they still have to charge up that ult, which is a period where the attack speed just literally isn't affecting anything. Not only that, but he also doesn't even have any attack speed focused characters on the bench either. I think the best play for him, honestly, would be to spend this Gumu to get a 3-star Marsh Lord, because I think that's
There it is.
Get it without it. There you go. Nicely done. Now he has the 3-star Marsh Lord. That gives him at least something that is benefiting from that attack speed.
So I don't quite know. I need to talk to the developers a little bit, because the beast buff specifically says like, and it does he's close though. He might have just upgraded his Martial Lord, but do you think he's gonna get through this round, TJ? It's really close.
It depends on Chaos's ultimate weapon here. I think he's got it. Ultimate weapon goes off. Oh, that's actually big damage. He does not have it. 2 HP and he's gone. War Chief
Did
out
he
of the
pass the
board.
Martial Lord? He didn't pass the Martial Lord, TJ. I don't think he did.
No, 3-star Martial Lord not being passed to One Rain. He's left with a
He
1-star undead Dark Mage.
All right, well that's not the worst unit, because here's the thing that we
Oh, it gives
mentioned
him
earlier,
undead.
is that the ultimate weapon is doing physical damage, so that'll actually be a lot of damage, but still, the 3-star Martial Lord, really, such a powerful unit. I think One Rain will still be able to do fine with this insane front line along with the Joey and the 3-star Frost Lotus, but 3-star Martial Lord, like, I don't know.
Real shame that didn't get passed over. One Rain's just got so much sorcerer happening though. It's hard to bet against him. Richard is rolling with a 6 warrior buff in the front lines, hunters against the back lines. Typically that works almost entirely dependent on where the sorcerer ults get targeted. As you can see here, the sorcerer ults actually didn't hit the back lines, didn't shut down those hunters, which means they may and probably will lose this round. Look at how many blades there are. Did he give it another item?
It's just that the Unicorn Cavalier bounces 7 times. So like when he gets in the 2v2, he's doing insane damage because all the blades bounce back and forth, and he can cast and he can auto attack multiple times. So it looked like there was like 4 blades bouncing back and forth at one point there. So like that's not even with like full attack speed. Like I love the crit item on him, but the piercing dagger too, like on the Cavalier, makes it so their entire team has like 40 less armor basically. So very strong unit. You know, the bouncing autos in this game are crazy because of those 2 attack items.
Unicorn Cavalier
Chaos
is
Seraph.
something to fear. Chaos Seraph, we talked about earlier, he's still on 20 HP alongside Richard. He's actually struggling here versus Chrono. This is a bad matchup potentially for him, because he's relying entirely on that frontline warrior to build space for him. It seems like he's come out on top, but it's a narrow one. Chrono
That's his-
barely falls short. Does on his screen as well. Will get chunked down a little.
That's his 11th win, TJ. So his econ strat, you know, I don't think that's luck when you're getting 11 wins in a row.
Okay, but is it the economy strat? Because he was broke at the midpoint of this game. He was completely and utterly broke. I feel like it's more of a case of he just got good rolls afterwards.
Yeah, well, the thing is that you remember he went broke because him and his teammate were level 8 when there was a level 6 on the board, and then everyone was 7. So they kind of went for the oh crap kind of button, and spent all their economy. One like slightly interesting thing though about this team though is that I talk to Chaos every now and then, and he's one of the players that like doesn't like econ though, but this matchup right now is looking close. I don't know if he's gonna be able to pull through.
He had
Ultimate
a good
weapon goes
ultimate
off.
weapon cast. I'm not worried.
Yeah, you're right. You're
Unicorn
absolutely
Cavalier,
right.
actually. Oh my god!
Jeez, 12 wins now.
Yeah. So it
but
worked out. It
Chaos,
worked out from, and you know what? I'm looking at the board right now. Here, this is a better screen to demonstrate it. Check out that warrior life.
yeah, we only got one player, full warrior, huh?
One player full warrior, human sorcerer for 1 reign, demon rider for Richard with the elfin hunter kind of backing it up, and then chaos seraph. For me, is like the real wild card because he does have that 6 warrior buff, but it's being passed to him.
Oh, that's right. So there's 2. Yeah. I was looking at the scoreboard. You are correct. The thing that I want to mention though is I don't know exactly what unit he needs. I think he needs a werewolf. But if One Rain can get a werewolf or the other human that I can't think of, he's going to start going off. Because when you get those reset on reset
Oh, yeah,
resets from some of the humans, he's very close to it. If he's able to get that, he just hasn't been able to find the werewolf in the
flame cooler. Yeah, you're right. It is the werewolf he's missing.
There's one more unit. I just can't think of it because there's
The
7
Lightbringer.
humans.
But I think he was being. No, he isn't being past the Lightbringer.
Oh, dude, the Lightbringer's the key to the sorcerer, though. He needs to get that Lightbringer, but he has 77 health to work with, so he'll be able to bleed for a while. He's got a good economy. The only person, I guess Richard and Chaos have a little better economy since they're a higher level. You got to remember that that's worth gold.
I want to attach our focus to Chrono, who has been losing kind of steadily for a while here. He had a lot of HP, so it didn't matter. Now it's starting to matter as he's at the lowest HP on the board. He does have that Unicorn Cavalier being handed to him. But his frontline warriors are dying awfully fast every round, so it's not having the same effect it is on his teammate's board. You can see it now losing a 1-4-ish. 5 HP. I knew he'd be fine. What's going wrong with Chrono's comp?
What's going wrong? Well, I see that he's got 2 furries. What furries does he got in? He's really investing in these furries. Yeah, he's really investing in these furries, which is too bad. If he does get this Wukong though, the Wukong will like really pop off. He actually gave his 3 spellbanes to the right now picking up bangers just aren't worthwhile.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
He
ends up
sold a
selling
Vanguard for a reroll, and then the next roll he got another Vanguard. I've been there.
Yeah.
That hurts.
Yeah, I know, right?
Alright, 5 HP. Can he live another round? Versus Chaos Seraph, that's probably one of the better opponents he could get.
Chaos Seraph just picked up the Warlock buff with the Void Doom too, which is one of my favorite units in the game. The ult kind of doesn't hit though, so. But it's Chaos Seraph.
I don't think he has it. It's all on the Unicorn Cavalier. He's gone.
Oh my gosh! I think that he just took 5 damage too. That's that's brutal.
3 players remain. 1 representative for each of the 3 teams. We're playing solos now.
Yeah, so
Fun fact, the only player that's been consistently losing is One Rain Chrono. Richard and Chaos have been on 20 HP for like the last 8 rounds. It's absurd.
Yeah,
14
that's right.
wins on Chaos.
14 wins. Oh my gosh. I mean, it goes to show like Chaos is like the only queen here, so definitely has quite a bit of a queen rank. Like he has quite a bit of experience on this game mode. So
he's got CC stack happening now. General of War, 2-star Kraken, both 2 stars actually, and then he's got this King of the Sea on his bench. He plays the King of the Sea, and it's like the dream.
Yeah, I love the King of the Sea. He's Shorakaka. I love just like saying his name too.
It actually doesn't list that anymore. It's very sad.
Oh, it says King of the Sea. Oh well.
Uh-oh.
We have our. Looks like
Richard
best
gets
friends
dropped.
is gonna end up. Okay, so is this the dream situation? Is this the dream situation for Rainaholics? No, it looks like they still won't be able to win with only 60 health, but
That
technically
would
they
get
can.
them 40 points. Yeah, okay. 40 points plus 6, that's 46 points, giving them a total of 56 points. Best friends, Richard just lost in 3rd place, bringing their overall point total to what?
61.
61. So they can't do it. That's a real shame.
Yeah, but it'll still mean something if they're able to take a first place after going out in 4th. I think they didn't like we said in the first game, they were running Punishers at the same time as another team, and that's just unlucky sometimes. But getting back to the current match, One Rain doesn't seem to be able to hold on much longer, so he's just gonna be slowly losing.
Yeah, what's going wrong for One Rain here?
He didn't get the six humans. Like straight up, in
He
my
literally can't
opinion.
roll Lightbringer. Like, everything else is going right for him. But he cannot find a Lightbringer. He cannot find a Werewolf.
Good. He's selling his units right now. That's absolutely what you gotta do. You don't even keep this flame collar, to be honest. I mean, like, it doesn't matter for this
Yeah,
round.
kill your Darlings because you need the reset more than you need a 3-star.
Yeah. Well, and then also I see a lot of people make this mistake where they're like, oh, like maybe I can the Shrakaka change is not. I guess it doesn't matter for this round, but Shrakaka's he sold it for the XP for the extra unit or extra interest. That's not terrible in my opinion, but I don't think it's the
I'm
best.
completely with him because he just needs a lucky roll. He has 10 spaces. At any point, he's ready to make the trade. Take out one of those 2 Moonlit Dragon Sorcerers, put in the final human, get the human buff, and win the game. And I really do think it is as simple as him getting the human he's looking for. There it is! Lightbringer in!
Now, so he can just totally RNG. He can just completely RNG. Wow, Chaos
2-star
Seraph just
Gumu.
leveled up a
2-star Gumu for Guru, sorry, for Chaos Seraph. He could have a 3-star General of War in a moment. He also has the Tarakaka still on the bench, ready to trade in or out. I'd be advocating for him to put it in just for the CC. Here's the game. Any one round, if Chaos Seraph loses any round convincingly enough, it could be over. This is all on RNG. And now you have that 6 human buff for the infinite resets. There they go. Lightbringer out. It doesn't work. Still overwhelmed. He survives on his board. On One Rain's side, it's narrow and against him. 30 HP. They're evening out.
He's very close to getting the
3-star Moonlit
quite a
Dragon.
few units.
There it is.
There you go. That's a good start. What else can he do here?
3-star General of War against him.
Oh my
Chaos
gosh,
Seraph got
that
his
thing looks like
3-star.
a truck. Look at the attack damage on General HP. Like that's literally an army. Like there's a reason he's called General. He hits for 1,000 damage.
One Rain, is this change enough? 2-star, he got a 2-star Lightbringer. Is this enough?
I mean, he like One Rain can literally he has 30 HP to RNG this Chaos, and if he RNGs correctly, Chaos can just lose.
Kraken
right
stuns.
there. So
The Kraken stun
might
just
be it.
shuts down his backline.
look at Chaos. I think it's out. I think it's over.
Oh, Chaos! He's lost
Chaos
the RNG. The rolls went better for him on his screen. The General of War's trying to
that
save the
20
day. Now the
damage?
Goblin Berserker. He can't do it. Flame Cooler through. Is that it? 8 HP. One Rain loses on his screen as well. He's down to 15 HP.
Like we're in that situation where like they could both win. They could both lose in the next round. Like do you know what I'm saying? Like they could both lose at the same time. It's just about who loses first and takes away second place, I believe. So, wow.
Should Chaos Seraph be swapping out his General Puffer for the King of the Sea?
Because
Because I'd like
no,
it.
no,
just
he
so
needs
has
the
I'd like
he
it
needs
so he has
the
the extra
warrior
sub.
buff.
Oh,
He
it's
needs
for
the
warrior
extra
buff.
warrior buff.
You're
Yeah,
right.
yeah. Otherwise, I would totally agree.
I want him
Alright.
to have as many stuns as possible because he needs to shut down these backline mages as quickly as possible. Here are the stuns,
scrolling back
cracking
and
against the
forth.
backline. His screen, though, the mage damage, it's adding up. Chaos Seraph in trouble, Lightbringer through. Doesn't matter, he's got the win on one Rain's screen. Oh, it goes against him, and badly. That's the game. Chaos Seraph takes it. One Rain out in second place. 40 points to the Rainaholics. That puts them at a grand total of 50, shuffling them into second place until you give Chaotic Nate their own 40 points. 40, 50, 60 plus 1, right? 61 points?
No, I think they're at 30 right now, right? So that'd be 71.
71, you're right. Thank you for saving me on the math. That's why I did it out loud this time. So that's then 71 points for Chaotic Nate. Rainaholics in third place. Best Friends in second. There's your updated scoreboard. Chaotic
Oh
Nate
my gosh.
takes away Group B, game number 2, with 71 points as their final score. Best Friends in second, 61. Rainaholics with
Wait.
50 in third. Frontier with 30 in fourth.
Wait, TJ. Didn't Chaos have less than 10? Didn't Chaos have 8 HP at the end?
You may be right. It depends on. I
So
didn't
he
catch it.
does. So I don't think that they Hold on, let me. I was trying to go to your.
They still have 10 more points than
odds.
Best Friends.
Oh, they still. Okay, right, yeah.
So it
then
doesn't
they-
matter. It may be 70,
Yeah,
it may
I
be
gotcha.
71.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter either way.
30 plus 50.
Wow, the second series was my favorite. That was, I mean, the first series was so good too. Like we were churning out some quality content from these tournaments. Like I'm so excited for the future of these events.
Yeah, we were blessed by some darn good games today. Group A went to Fried Sweet Tea. Their team name Fried Warrior, with Fried Sweet Tea and Warrior taking it away. That was by 1 point, and our math didn't credit it to them. And we had to recount. It was basically an election in Florida. But it did go
Yeah,
to
right?
Fried Warrior. Game number 2. A much stronger victory to Chaotic Nate, but no less chaotic, appropriately enough.
Yeah, good team name for that for sure.
Lessons learned out of game 1, I said Warrior was the be-all, end-all. Do you agree with me at the end of the evening?
Yeah, the thing about like labeling like best builds though is it does still come down to star counts, right? So like even if you've got the best build, if the other person's got like, you know, just rolled, you know, better just somehow, you know, I still think that the warrior will win more on average, but you know, they're not guaranteed to win, which is great, right? Because in the rider meta we were basically like rider or bust, you know. So like I said at the start of the tournament, I think we're in a much healthier meta, and even though Warriors were dominant, they weren't like you know, like when we played Rider Rush.
Right. So you don't think there's a dominant meta right now, and that is very good for me to hear, I think. I'm very happy to hear you say that.
Absolutely. We're in a good spot.
I'm very happy we ended things with Sorcerer Human, though.
Yeah, that
'cause
was.
man, is that a lot of fun. This has been, of course,
Super
presented
bingo.
by Premier Gaming. You can join their Discord server. I will fill the chat with it right now. If you join that Discord server, you have the invites to any future tournaments. They'll give you notifications as to the dates. There will be many more. I believe they're proceeding on a weekly basis. From here on, I will be casting them here on Twitch at eSportsTJ, twitch.tv/eSportsTJ. They'll also be going up on the Premier Gaming YouTube channel, which you can again find through that Discord. Devil, you stream also to Twitch. Where can people find you?
People can find me at twitch.tv/devil_heroes. On YouTube at youtube.com/William P. Ware. Are you planning on streaming tonight?
Oh, I have more things to do. I've got reports to write, notes to update. I got a busy night ahead of me. I'm in the
Well, I'm
wrong
probably
time
gonna-
zone right now. My life sucks. But if you'd like to track that, I tweet about how much my life sucks over on Twitter at esportstj, and you can find me as esportstj on Twitter or Twitch. Thank you so much for watching tonight. I hope you had a great time. We'll be back next week when the Call of Clash tournaments continue from Premier Gaming. I hope you had a great time. Till then, goodbye.